Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl. Hopefully, there's somebody actually watching this stream because we've had some technical difficulties, and we're very sorry for that. The stream just wouldn't start on any platform, and there were some technical issues. It was not our doing. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but I'm just saying that we're not software engineers. Sometimes these type of streaming software platforms, things like that, they have kind of a downtime or some kind of issue, and we just weren't able to fix it. And that's really kind of depressing sometimes because you have all these people waiting for you in a room trying to have the stream start, and the software won't work. So we've had a few incidents like that recently. We're always appreciative that people still hop on over and find us. But yeah, it was rather depressing. But we're doing whatever we can, even if it's just us, the dead man, and Kendrick Lama hanging out. That's still better than nothing.
It's
uh,
it,
it
it's it is something.
something that's better than nothing. That's for
Something
sure.
that is better
And then Yudhis is here too, so it's nice to see people here. If nothing else, you get to see our backup layout. This is the layout we. If you see this layout, that means it's a backup stream.
than nothing.
It's
That
not a regular layout.
means
It's a bit different. But you know
shit
what?
has gone down. That's what the
What'd you say?
if you see this layout, it means shit has gone down.
That's exactly what it. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. But I'm still grateful that some people came here. And did you put the link in the other one?
I did, yes.
Okay, so we have that going on. Let me see if there's anything I can do to make this smoother for anybody trying to find it. What I'll do is I'll try
Well,
to.
you are a smooth operator, Price.
Well, here at Price of Reason Studios, we're always at the cutting edge of technology, and I am one of the people that's a specialist in this kind of technology. One of two,
One of two. Oh boy.
and then
Yeah, this it's streaming technology. Sometimes it feels like all of these different streaming platforms, all of them, are just held together with baling wire and some spit. And so they just barely work most of the time.
that's true. Oh well, I think we did the best we could under the circumstances, and hopefully some people will know that they have to move somewhere else. Rumble, is it even working there? I don't even know.
Yes, we are up on Rumble.
Okay,
It is
well,
working. We have 7 viewers or 8 viewers now.
well, we can only do the best we can under the circumstances. We did the best we could. At least there's a backup stream. You know what? I'm going to go to the original stream and write there that we have the other stream.
Yeah. Well, on Rumble it won't work because chat will be disabled when you're not live.
I'll just write, this is where the stream is due to technical
The stream is here.
difficulties. Also doing customer service.
Go to 10.
And here I'll pin this comment, so if somebody wants to know where it is, they can find it. Anyhow, how's it going, Professor?
Well, it's going fine. It's been a very busy day. Today was the first day back to school for my kids, so that's always a lot of fun. Dealing with all of that, getting the kids back into school, and dealing with all the just all the rigmarole of back to school time. Real mess. I'm not back in the classroom for another couple weeks, but yeah, just busy times. Yeah. So, in fact, I when you sent me the link for tonight, I was like, oh yeah, it's Tuesday night. Almost forgot.
Now you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I think maybe I have to raise the microphone. Talk now.
Yeah.
I
Oh, I
raised.
bet no. It got turned down while we were on Rumble. Hold on.
I see.
There we go.
Oh, okay. Wait. So let me bring. I'll bring it back to what it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. Put it back down to 100. Yeah. Whenever we're using Rumble Studio, it always plays with the auto gain. There's nothing I can do to turn off the auto gain on there.
Ah, I see. So yeah,
Yeah.
suddenly I heard you. It was like I couldn't hear you as well, and it was
Yeah.
it's either that I can't hear very well, which is a possibility, or the volume was lower. But I'm happy that it was the volume
Yeah.
lower.
Yeah. I forgot when we switched over. I needed to turn my volume back up.
I
But
do
yeah.
like that at least some people are now finding. I see Elizabeth Quince. I see Folsom Lockdown on Rumble. I see Void King here, Jonathan Conroy. So it's nice to hang out. Thanks, guys. It's nice,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did the best we could under the circumstances, Professor, and we'll do what we can.
Yes, we will.
Anyhow, now I feel like it threw us off our game.
Now, what do what were our topics even?
What were our topics?
we'll
First of all,
just talk about whatever the hell.
it's the Night Owl, of course. Tuesday and
Yep.
Thursdays, we talk about pop culture news and reviews and games and stuff. And I'm Price of Reason. This is Professor R2.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was like the laziest opening we've ever done.
Yeah, that's us.
That's us.
Yeah.
And now I guess what were we even talking about? So
Professor of Reason and Price of R2. Yeah, we're all here.
so we were talking about first of all about Trump DC crackdown.
Oh yeah, and this crazy everything going on there. Yeah.
So
with
I just wanted to ask you, basically, DC, if I understand correctly, has its own set of rules. It's not the same as other places, correct?
that is correct. Because it's technically a federal property. It's not a state or part of a state, and so it has all its special rules. And so and then there's something in the Constitution actually that determines like exactly what that is. So it's I actually wrote this down because I saw we were going to mention this tonight, and I remembered going and reading something about this. So Article 1, Section 8 of the U.S. Constitution states that Congress should have exclusive jurisdiction over the seat of federal government within a district not exceeding 10 miles square. So this district, the district was purposely set aside, separated from states. So there's no state that has control over all, like the federal buildings and everything that are there. And there's no other authority that could potentially influence, what's going on. So it's like this federal, property. So essentially, you might have seen there's been a lot of Democrats. In fact, the DNC itself posted something about statehood for DC now. Whatever. No, that would literally require a constitutional amendment, and there's not a chance in hell that's ever going to pass because it needs all the votes of the Senate. Then it has to be passed on to the states, and then all those states have to pass it. It's not going to happen. So and then the idea that what are we going to do? We're gonna if we took this city that is Washington D.C. and made that a state, it would instantly become the most crime-ridden state in the entire country. The minute it became a state, it has for its population and its area, it is one of the most crime-ridden places just about anywhere, most certainly in all of the U.S. So,
I understand. I mean, the one thing I wanted to ask you is that always when you hear about this stuff, somebody usually a Democrat or somebody who's in charge there, like a mayor, or in California, it's a governor. They say, "Oh well, you must not be aware. We have the lowest crime statistics in the country, or something." And it's like it doesn't look like it based on just footage of people that random people just took in the streets. It doesn't really reflect what they're saying But I've seen it also with California. I remember recently somebody said something, and Gavin Newsom's like, "No, crime is down. We don't have crime in California." And it's like, I don't know, man. I think you do have crime in California.
Oh, well, they absolutely do. And a lot of what has happened recently, in fact, there's been some scandals that have been involved with this. There's a bunch of states, a bunch of cities, including Washington, D.C., where it's basically been shown that the reason that they're showing lower crime is just because they've stopped counting.
Right.
They
I mean,
just they're just not actually reporting the crime that has happened there. And
they're
so
fudging the numbers. They're
yeah,
fudging the
they're
numbers.
absolutely they are taking in all of these numbers, and they're throwing out numbers that they decide are not well, that's not really violent crime, or that's not really a homicide, that was something else, right? And so they take the statistics they don't want, or the numbers they don't want, throw those out, and then they look at the statistics and say, well, look at that. Our number of murders went down by 100. Well, actually, no, it didn't. Uh, you're just messing with your statistics by just not reporting stuff. And in fact, there's cities now that just refuse to report their statistics to the federal government regarding violent crime. I think Boston was one of them. So it's ridiculous to say, oh, well, we don't have crime, or our crime's gotten better, whatever, when there has been very clearly manipulation that has taken place in these different areas. It's pretty wild stuff when you think about it. That cities are now so desperate that they be looked at in a better light, that they're just saying, well, you know what we could do? We could just cook the books. We could just fake it instead of actually getting rid of violent crime.
Yeah, I mean, it really annoys me that everybody just wants to fudge numbers these days. Nobody wants to admit that anything's wrong. No, nothing bad has ever happened. Everything is always great. It's the same way when they release movies. The movies could be losing them hundreds of millions of dollars, but it's a huge success, and you
Oh
better
my
agree that
God.
it is. Crime,
Yeah.
there's no crime. Everything is great. It's like I don't like this philosophy. I, I'm sure that throughout history there were times that people tried to sort of put a positive spin on something negative that happened, but to flat out just ignore situations, 100% ignore it and try to do like a matrix where you create a different reality kind of annoys me. Now, I mean, the thing with the movie is rather annoying, but I think that when it comes to crime, it's a lot more serious. So if you're pretending that there's an area that's really safe and that nobody gets mugged and everything is great there, then people go there thinking it's great and then it's not great, you're really doing something bad. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It's not the same
Yeah.
thing as if let's say
Absolutely.
if
You're
if let's say a
you're
studio.
defrauding the populace. You're defrauding the people that live in your state or your city or whatever by faking the statistics. You're telling people, "Oh, I'm sorry. No, you didn't actually get graped. But we don't have to report that. No, that wasn't any kind of assault. No, you're crazy. And if you actually think that lots of people are being assaulted, then you're some sort of, I don't know, MAGA something or whatever." And it's like, no, it happened, and it happens all the time. It's like they there there was some guy who was on the news. I can't remember who it was. I think it was somebody who used to work for Chuck Schumer, some policy guy who used to work for Schumer, and he was like, "I've lived in this city. I've lived in D.C. for 30 years, and I don't feel scared walking down the street. I This is all just made up nonsense." And it's like, and then you hear stories from all these women that are like, "I literally don't want to go outside after 8 p.m. I'm
What
that scared I'm going to be assaulted, I'm going to be murdered, I'm going to be mugged." Like,
you, you know, I saw something. I would have to look for it. Maybe I can find it. There was something about a store where they have this whole policy now with people bringing bags into the store because people are they're worried that people are going to steal all their stuff. So the store has a policy of how many bags you can bring, what you can do, and they were interviewing people, and they were interviewing not like I guess what I'm saying is it was a diverse group of people that they were interviewing, and all of them were saying that the crime is terrible, and they seemed really serious about it. Do you get what I mean? It doesn't fit with the weird narratives that those guys are peddling. Once you see people of different backgrounds saying, "Man, then somebody's got to do something," it doesn't give that vibe that everything is wonderful, which is why I really don't believe it. I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if I can find that. Do you remember what the store was called? Is there a store called Giant?
Yeah, they say Folsom Lockdown in the Rumble chat is saying Giants. He thought was the name of the store.
Yeah, Giant, and then DC. Let's see.
I mean, crime has gotten completely out of control in a lot of places. I mean, you heard nonstop stories about California, how them say, "Oh no, we don't have bad crime. Our crime isn't any worse here than it ever has been. Oh no, we don't have crime here, or whatever." And then what happened this last election cycle? They passed a whole ton of different tough on crime laws in a bunch of different areas, a bunch of different cities and counties throughout the state. Passed all kinds of new, like, tough on crime laws because people were literally just walking into a store and walking out with thousands of dollars of goods, and no one would stop them.
Here, let me see if I can put. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
I don't hear anything though.
12 giant grocery.
There we go.
Did you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, let me lower the volume a bit.
So starting today at 12 giant grocery stores in DC and Maryland, if you have a bag over 14 inches, you cannot take it inside the store. So what does that look like? Here's a backpack, 14 inches. This one can't go in. Also, if you're under 18 years old, you cannot go into the store after 6 p.m. without an adult. Giant store leaders say it is all because of thieves, and shoppers we spoke to say all these new rules, these are a small price to pay.
It's a private business. They can set their own rules.
Yeah.
You know, if you don't like it, shop somewhere else. It would also keep prices down for us as a consumer. And I think the stores are trying to do the best that they can to help the consumer out. And if that's what it takes, then that's what they have to do.
I'm for anything that works. If it makes anything better for the community, and if it works for the kids to keep the kids from coming in, I think because you should teach the kids not to steal. So anything,
simple, right?
Yeah, anything that works for the community and everybody else.
It's unfortunate because apparently a lot of theft has been happening, and that's the reason why. So they got to do something. Otherwise, we won't have a Giant. So to prevent it from closing, I don't blame them. They got to do what they got to do.
Wow, some people with actual brains. I'm impressed.
No,
not to say they didn't interview 18 other people who had really stupid, idiotic opinions.
Right?
But
maybe they did. But what I'm trying to say is that a lot of times when you say, "Oh, there's a lot of crime and shoplifting, things like that," there's people that come out and say, "Well, you're not being very inclusive now, are you?" But when I see the demographics of the people that they interviewed here, I don't think it's a situation that anybody's delusional about this. I think that there are people that are good people that want to shop at this store, and there's just a bunch of thieves that want to go in and steal the stuff. And if that's the case, then something isn't being done correctly there.
Yeah, and there's been all kinds of stuff that they've had to do in other places. You know, there's been a whole bunch of the one of the drugstore chains where they've had to put basically everything behind lock and key. They've had to install, little metal grates, or they've had to put everything inside little plastic boxes or whatever to prevent people from coming in and stealing, because it got to be so insanely bad. And then somewhere like this, you've got a grocery store. First of all, if you don't know grocery stores, I know some people, actually, a former colleague of mine, her husband is actually fairly high up in a local grocery chain. And we were talking, she was basically telling us that the margins at these grocery stores are minuscule. They do not this whole idea that the grocery stores are coming in and they're price gouging you on eggs or whatever. No, they do not make massive profits on what they sell in those stores. They're just barely able to keep things on the shelves. They're barely able to pay their people. It is not a really high margin that they're making. It's less than 10%. It's more like, yeah, it's more yeah, I just said 4 or 5%. Yeah, it's something like that. It's really small. And so these businesses, they cannot afford to have people just walking in, filling up a basket and walking out and not paying. It's costing them massive amounts. And again, as the one person said, the one woman, she's like, people have to raise prices. If they have to raise prices, that's going to hurt the rest of us, and it's only going to benefit them. So if I have to bring a smaller bag with me, fine, right? First of all, I don't know why you need to be bringing a friggin' backpack into a grocery store. We have grocery bags that we take to our grocery store, and they're definitely smaller than than what they were describing. It's it's kind of ridiculous, and clearly these people like the fact that they've got this grocery store. They like either the goods that they have there, maybe it's the produce, maybe the brands that they carry, maybe it's just a really nice store. I don't know. I've never been to a Giant, so I have no idea. Deadman says the Giant is higher end. I have no idea. Never been to Giant, but clearly there's customers that are very happy to have this store. And the reality is that if they continue to just let people come in and just steal from them willy-nilly so that they don't look bad to certain groups of people, that they don't get called names, be called fascists or whatever, because they have limits on the size of the bags that you can bring in. If they don't limit that shrinkage, that loss that they're getting from that theft, then the only other alternative is you don't have a Giant anymore. You don't have the grocery store. There's been stores all over California, especially if you go to some of these places, in LA and in San Francisco, where they simply don't enforce the law anymore. People are breaking in and stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of goods every single day. There's a bunch of these fancy stores like in LA. They've just shut their doors. They just said, we can't operate here anymore. Why would we continue to operate here? We're just going to lose our shirts. So we're gone. We'll go make our money in some other city. So that's the alternative, right? So yeah, it's kind of funny that they would say, yeah, no, we're just going to say, no, you can't have big bags. And that's going to limit what people could potentially walk out of the store with, and hopefully make it easier to identify people who are trying to steal, so that they can intercept them.
Even in my area, over the past maybe 5 years, there's many drugstores. Even I think if I go to Target, there's certain things that are locked up, and there's nothing more annoying than that, because imagine having, you have some weird, I don't know if it's a shaving kit or something like that, some Gillette thing, and you want to get it, but then you have to start looking for some guy that has a key that'll open it for you. It's really annoying. It's like in the past you just chose whatever you chose and you walk out. Now there's all this stuff that they lock, certain medications, and nothing. It could be just some kind of sinus allergy medication. Again, you're looking for a guy. Those Targets are big. Sometimes you'll be waiting. There have been times that I waited like 20 minutes until some person shows up with a key. And it happens to me in a lot of different places. It's really annoying. It's like, you know what it does at the end? It causes people to not even want to shop in stores. You're just like, you know what? I'll just order it online. I don't even feel like going to the store. And stores are in trouble as it is. So if there's already the type of store that somebody wants to go and buy some products at, and that you can't actually do it, it's really annoying. I don't know if it's like that in your area.
There's been a little bit of that, not quite as much, but there's definitely places where you do notice, you're like, oh, well, they've got that in like a case now. Okay. It's usually very specific things that are really high dollar for their size, right? They'd be really easy to walk off with something that's a couple $100 because you could fit it in your pocket or sneak it into your jacket or something like that. But there's definitely more of that here, just not nearly as much as, like, I think someone was saying it was CVS, it was Walgreens, maybe it was both of them, I don't know. but there was a bunch of these stores, especially in places like Seattle, Portland, different places in California, where basically they had just stopped enforcing the law. People were shoplifting left and right. And so the drugstores were like, okay, well, we're just going to put everything behind lock and key, like absolutely everything. Everything from razors to bars of soap. Like if you want it, like you can't just steal it off a shelf. Like
Yeah.
someone has to come and open the case for you and we get it out. So, I mean, it sounds crazy, but yeah.
Tim Hayes says, I don't even live in Los Angeles or the effing Bay Area. Sorry, Sean. But when I go to the local CVS or even Walgreens, I have to have a store clerk unlock the case containing what I want to buy. It's the same thing. That's what's happening in all these stores.
Yeah.
The dead man says, Professor R2, do you remember the story that went viral about Loudoun County School where there was a dude that pretended to be a tea girl that served grapes to girls and they pushed under rug? I don't know.
Absolutely. I remember that story. Yes, that was a big deal in the midterms. Just a few years ago, it was a very big deal, and that's incredible that a school would cover up such a violent assault like that they would cover it up to cover for somebody who was a transformer. That's just wild.
Elizabeth Quinn says, sad fact, lots of meds at overseas U.S. military bases behind lock and key. Soldiers buy and sell to nerds. I didn't know that, but that is kind of a bummer. But yeah, Folsom Lockdown says, it's amazing how many pharmacies have closed the last couple of years in Western Washington and Oregon. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, even with all of the kind of woke agendas and all this stuff, there's just places that can't stay open. They're like, you know what? We can't do it. We can't stay open because there's too many thefts and we're shutting down our business and leaving.
Yeah.
And that's happened to a lot of chains, a lot of things and that's really the ultimate hypocrisy, that on one hand, they want to seemingly be all kind of like woke and whatever. And then at the same time, all their policies are bad if they want to actually keep their store.
And I will say, as we're sort of getting back to the original topic, talking about DC, there was a bit of a meme going around today about Trump, and I mean, maybe I could find it. Let's see.
Yeah, see if you can find it. I think I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I kind of saved that I wanted to look at when it came to this. Let me try to find it. But
I'm not finding it. But anyway, the whole thing was basically that someone had sort of photoshopped up a Donald Trump in an outfit like he was a magician, and it said, "For my next magic trick, I will make Democrats defend crime," which is exactly what has happened over the last few days since the discussion started on Friday, and then everything went, sort of started happening today with all of these people on the left just absolutely freaking out about, Trump's he's gonna take control of DC. We have to take DC back, whatever. And none of them mentioning that the whole reason that he's doing it is because the crime is absolutely out of control. And then literally the Democrats freaking out. You got to do this or that. They're defending the fact that the city is absolutely ridden with crime. And then on top of all of it, the head of the DC Police Department comes out and says, "I'm in favor of this. Thank you, Trump. We don't have enough people in our force. We're down." They're literally down like 500 people.
I think it was 800 when he spoke. I think he said that they're down 800 people.
Yeah, they're supposed to have a force of like nearly 4,000, and they're down a huge number. And so they're like, we can't. We're doing the best we can right now. With what we've got, but this is absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, the fact that everyone, the progressives, the Democrat, they hate Trump so much that it doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter how positive any action is that he might take. No matter how many citizens' lives he might be saving, how many people he might be protecting, no, they have to be against it. So in this case, he's now gotten them to come back around to, oh, we're okay with crime.
It's so stupid that they were like protesting. Oh no, like he wants to stop crimes. It's just stupid.
Oh yeah, I mean they had T-shirts and signs and stuff printed up within a couple of hours. They were all
They
about,
always
around
do.
chanting and stuff. Yeah, it's amazing.
It's such an alienating party. I really I don't understand what they're doing anymore over in that party. But Tomahawk 511 says, I live in LA. I've seen them do it. It's very nonchalant. Walk in, walk out with the goods. Usually they take detergents and towels. I believe that, but
Yep.
I've told you this before, that before the coup, I actually was in San Francisco at some point, and I was walking around there in I don't know if it's you know I don't know if it's considered the downtown, whatever it is, and everything looked fine, but there was suddenly a few streets that there were a lot of people that seemed kind of homelessy,
Mhm.
if you know what I mean. Like suddenly it didn't look like that was such a good area to walk around. And I think that there I saw stores like already putting stuff and doing it suddenly became like a dark vibe, if you understand. Like there was something about it that you
Yeah.
kind of feel that the energy changed, that there's people there that seem to be up to no good. And I kind of said, okay, I'm not walking here. But it was sort of limited to a few streets. And footage I later saw that surfaced, in more in the last few years, that same area that I was walking around in, when I see footage now and somebody was just taking like a camera and filming, whatever I felt that was happening in like a block or two is now just all over the place. And there, I think a lot of stores left. All these stores that I saw that I was walking around, oh, there's this store, there's that store. I think a lot of places shut down because that place there in San Francisco, I think that there's areas there that are super dangerous. And you were talking about reporting. There are situations where I remember seeing people interviewed saying that sometimes it doesn't even they don't even bother calling the cops. They don't even bother doing anything. Or even if you call the cops don't even want to do anything. They don't want to come there. So how can you evaluate if you have crime in your city if there aren't enough cops to even investigate it, and most of the stuff that's not considered the highest of crimes, they don't even have time to shoplifters, things like that. They don't even want to deal with it.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, once you let things like that slide and you just make it so that it's not a big deal, all of it, and I think in California they made it that they can shoplift up to $1,000 or whatever that was. I mean, that is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I think there was something like that, right? Am I crazy that I thought there was something like that they can take up to $1,000, or there was something that
Yeah, there's some rules, and there's been different places that have done that too, saying, oh, you can take so much. I know that recently there was one in the UK. There was a rule in the UK that somebody they pushed forward. They're like, if it's under $1,000, they won't actually under £1,000, they won't actually charge you. But there's been some similar rules to that. Let's see. I was just looking here, just in the last couple of years. Let's see. Target has closed multiple locations in California, 3 in the Bay Area, explicitly citing theft and unsafe worker conditions as the primary reasons for their closure. So they closed because their workers were being threatened and they were facing massive theft, and the law was not dealing with it. Rite Aid closed numerous stores across California, and the company has gone through bankruptcy proceedings. CVS closed several CVS locations in the LA area. Theft and retail crime cited as their reasons. Walgreens, similar situation. Theft and staff safety. And other brands such as Macy's, TJ Maxx, Bath and Body Works, Ralph's, and several dollar store brands, all of them citing heightened theft and retail crime as the reasons for shutting down operations and leaving LA and the surrounding areas in California. It's insane that they just turn a blind. It's not even necessarily that they sort of are soft on crime. They just don't want to see it. They just look away. Just let it happen. It's fine. Well, just let the people rob you, and then your insurance will cover it. And it's insane. It's just insane. It all comes back. I mean, there's definitely controversy if you've ever heard the term broken windows policing. The idea that if you deal with the little things, the little violations, like that helps keep society functioning. Right?
Yeah.
But if you let people get away with that stuff, if you let little things like kids breaking some windows or somebody walking out of the store with a candy bar, it snowballs very quickly into, okay, well, what else can they get away with? What else can we get away with? What else can we get away with? And it's just wild. It's wild. So these areas that have decided, well, we're not going to prosecute this person because they're black. We're not going to prosecute this person because they're some other little minority that they want to claim or whatever. We're not going to prosecute them. That's where this really just went completely off the rails. Is that recently they've had a bunch of progressive DAs that have been elected in these areas that absolutely refuse to prosecute these people because they just say, well, but it's society's fault that they are doing what they're doing. And, well, we can't, it would be racist if I tried to charge them with a crime. And it's absolutely maddening. And I think a lot of people in California have had it. They're just sick and tired of their state just going to hell.
Well, but I just want to show this little clip of Trump talking.
Said, my father always used to tell me, I had a wonderful father, very smart. And he used to say, son, when you walk into a restaurant and you see a dirty front door, don't go in. Because if the front door is dirty, the kitchen's dirty also. Same thing with the Capitol.
It's true.
If our Capitol's dirty, our whole country is dirty, and they don't respect us. So it's a very good question, actually.
I actually think that out of the 7 hours that he was talking in this press conference, that was the best thing that he said, because I understand what he's saying. It looks terrible that Washington D.C. looks so crappy.
Yeah. And he's not wrong either. I mean, that is literally one of those things. Like if you walk into a restaurant and their entryway is dirty, then the people that run that store do not care about that restaurant. They don't care whether or not it's clean. And I guarantee you, just like he said, the restaurant's going to be the back room, the kitchen is going to be filthy. And you do not want to eat the food there. It's just that simple. And that's a great, a great way to discuss what he's saying. Like, look, we have this is supposed to be the seat of government for our federal system. And it is a nightmare. It is, per capita, more murders than just about any city in the nation. It's insane how they have just let it get so completely out of control. And I feel like we've got to do something about it. I don't mind Trump saying, all right, well, we're going to federalize this because clearly the local government and the local people can't be trusted. They're wasting tons of money. They're not keeping people safe, whatever. So I'm not sure how far this goes. I'm not sure how far down the rabbit hole they're going to go with trying to control what's going on in DC with the local government and everything like that. But it's, it's just gotten so completely out of control. I'm not surprised that this did finally happen.
No, I'm not surprised either. None of this surprises me. And you know what? he can't do this with every state, but if he can do it with DC, he can also show an example of what it looks like when he actually cleans up a place. And I hope that he manages to do it. Whatever they need to do to support the law enforcement there. I think people should be able to just want to go to stores and buy stuff without being worried that they're either going to get mugged or that people are going to steal stuff from the store. All of that is bad. It's just not a good thing to have.
Yeah, Elizabeth can't talk tonight. Elizabeth Quince over on Rumble says it's not insane. Chaos is a tool of communists. Once you understand that, you can fight. You can fight the enemy, and there is a method behind that madness. There is a method behind somebody like George Soros and a bunch of other activist people who have been helping to fund these activist DAs in different parts of the country to come in and be soft on crime, to let people off based on their demographics, based on their skin color, frankly. There is a method behind that. There is a reason for it. And there is a reason for, the city of DC falling apart. And it's not just incompetence. I generally subscribe to, what is that? I believe it's, is it called? No, it's not Sturgeon's Law. I can't remember. There's a word for it, but basically that you say, do not assign to malice what can be easily ascribed to incompetence.
Yeah.
Generally, I follow that rule, but I do think that there is some malice, forethought in what has been happening in a lot of these cities. They absolutely are looking to create more chaos so that they can come in and try to say, well, we have a solution for that, and that is a centrally run economy and all sorts of different communist policies and stuff that they want to put in place. So.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I sometimes I don't know if it's malice or incompetence, and I think a lot of times it's sort of a combination of both. It's somehow they manage to do a hybrid between being incompetent and malice.
Yeah. It's Hanlon's razor. I could not think of it on top of my head. Hanlon's razor. Never ascribe to malice what is adequately explained by stupidity. That's Hanlon's razor. But yeah, I think there's definitely a little of both here.
I thought it was nice to see something positive in this kind of conversation about cleaning up DC, because I feel like for the past month or two, all the political conversations have been so exhausting and annoying. I understand that there's a certain topic that people are very kind of interested in and sort of obsessed with. I'm not dismissing why people would be obsessed with the, Jeffrey's Island or whatever it is, but I feel like, the amount of energy and space and I don't know what, real estate in everybody's minds that this thing has been talked about over the past few months. It doesn't mean it's not important. I'm just saying that there are other things to do in this country.
Yeah, well, and that particular subject, Price, interestingly enough, has kind of faded. It's kind of disappeared among most people over the last few weeks. It's continued to become less and less of a topic, and there's still a little bit here and there that people have been talking about.
The people that keep
there's
talking
the whole
about
thing
it.
with Ghislaine Maxwell potentially like coming and giving testimony or whatever. I don't know why you would trust testimony from someone like her. Why you would think that would be accurate in any way, but apparently some people want to hear it. I don't know.
I feel like, a lot of times my instincts are pretty good. And this is what I told you. And this is why I'm not surprised. I think that a lot of people, they get disappointed because they build expectations. And I had no expectations. People kept saying that there was a list where, like I said to you, I've said this before, where all the richest, most powerful people in the world a lot of them are on this list doing bad things, and somebody has this list, and everybody believed that they would go and say, hey, here's the list, let's just go over this list now, we'll advertise, we'll publicize the list, we'll hang it up here in the hallway, I don't know, we'll post it online. I don't know what everybody thought. And it's like, I told you, you have world leaders that are on this list, and you think that somebody is just going to sit around and post this list somewhere. I just don't think that that's how it works. Now, you could say, well, these are terrible things that were done, and I'm not even disagreeing. I'm just saying that it just I understand how the way the world works, and I could never imagine a situation, no matter what any of those people said, that anything would happen with this. So I think that all the people that built up all these expectations and fantasies of what they thought that they would happen and what they would do, I think it was just unrealistic. It's not necessarily a bad thing to want people to get justice or something like that, but sometimes you also have to kind of zoom out and look at this practically. I just couldn't imagine a situation. Maybe I'm weird, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm just the strange person. Maybe everybody imagined this situation, but to me, it would have been a shocker had they actually released anything.
Yeah, and there may still be. There's been a few different, attempts at trying to get different court orders and stuff reversed so that some documents could be released. It's interesting that people who have been paying attention to it have started to realize that actually, it's the courts that are actually the problem. They've put a whole bunch of the records that were part of that particular investigation. They've put a lot of it away. They've sealed it. So
Well,
there's nothing that other than violating the law, violating a court order, there's nothing that the Department of Justice could do. And they've in fact gone to some judges and said, please, take the seal off of this record, that record, whatever. And the judges have said no. So it's fascinating to see how that has evolved, but it's also it's kind of just, I mean, it hasn't gone away, but it's gotten a lot quieter over the last couple of weeks in that particular topic. Yeah.
By the way, Sean Green says most people just want the dirt; they don't give a crap about justice. You know what? I will say something, and at least you could say there are a lot of. I want to choose my words carefully. There are a lot of grifters, for lack of a better word, that just want more and more content, more and more content, more and more whatever.
Absolutely,
And I feel like this, to some content creators or whatever, the influencers, whatever you want to call them, this looked like the big kahuna to them. And maybe they were all, kind of salivating at the mouth or whatever. They wanted to have this thing so they could talk about it all day and do whatever they do. Some of them have certain narratives that they hope that this would enforce. Some of them maybe just, wanted the content and the clout or whatever it is. And I guess this thing not being released, it's kind of like the other day when we were talking about Gina Carano, when we were saying if this had gone to trial, it would have been the most sensational thing for content creators in our corner of the internet ever. It would have been like in our space, it would have been the likes of like an O.J. Simpson trial or Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, which I also think is one of the reasons Disney wanted this to go away, because I don't think you understand, or I think you do understand, what would have happened if that went to trial and you had the actual executives from Disney sitting on the stand. The circus online would have been something of the likes that you've barely ever seen. And I think that a lot of people were kind of waiting for these files because they thought that this would be such a thing that they can really milk and squeeze and do all this stuff. And at the end, I guess it didn't pan out the way that they had hoped. And now they're just sitting around and whining about it all day. Now, again, I'm not saying that there isn't real people that wanted to see justice and, that were really interested for a good reason. But I will say that a lot of the most vocal people that I see online whining about it, usually they have some weird agenda. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh, I constantly see people who are whining about this, complaining about this, talking about this, and they're saying, "Oh, well, it's because Trump's in there. Trump won't let it come out because he's in this list." And there's he's making sure that his name doesn't get out there. Oh, he's he was one that was doing things with minors and all this stuff, and he can't let it get out. if there were any evidence at all in the stuff that they have about Epstein, Maxwell, anything, if there were absolutely anything about Trump, it would have been leaked, it would have been released, something, while Biden and his crew were in office.
Tim Hayes is saying the same thing. I also think that if they had something on him, they would have released it.
It would have been out ages ago, because they have been on a crusade for the past decade to destroy the man. If there were anything in that stuff, while they had control of every branch and they had control of all of the deep state people and everything, they would have found a way to get it out. Even if it was leaked by somebody, it would have been released. It is absurd to think that these people who were so determined, they created fake court cases and all sorts of wild stuff to try and destroy Trump, to prevent him from ever running again, all sorts of, that they would just leave that just sitting, right? That they would just leave something like that, some just nuclear weapon to end Trump's campaign, that they would just leave that sitting around.
I don't think that they would.
It's not a chance. There's no chance. It's not there. There is absolutely no damning evidence that Trump had anything to do with him or going to the island and doing things with young ladies. There's absolutely no evidence, because it would have come out already. It
Right.
would have
They
come
would have
out.
used anything to get rid of him, and I think that if they could have used that, then they would have done it. And the fact that they
Yeah.
didn't, I guess maybe they don't have it.
Yeah.
Vex Electronica says, I have evidence that Price of Reason is sponsored by Disney. You know what, Vex?
Oh.
You're not completely off target. I just didn't think you'd discover it, but anyhow, Tomahawk
You're making that
51.
new Star Wars film with KK.
I'm replacing the Charmin lady.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to be doing the feminist feminist agenda.
The feminist Ray movie where you're going to make
Feminist
men.
Ray movie, yeah.
It's all about making men uncomfortable. That's the whole point. Yeah, got to make sure you do that.
Ray is going to be in the world between the worlds, and we're gonna have her arrive. The events of Return of the Jedi. She's gonna be the one to get rid of the Emperor and not Darth Vader.
Oh, so she's the one that screwed it up and let him survive.
No, she'll fix it. Now she won't let him survive.
Oh, she's gonna travel. Oh, okay, I see. So she's gonna go back to Return of the Jedi, and that's where she's going to let all the Sith inhabit her.
Exactly.
Instead of taking in all the Sith at the end of Rise of Palpatine, she's going to go back to Return of the Jedi and take control. Okay.
The Dead Man, I hate everything. I don't think I hate everything. You
cannot say Price hates everything when he released a positive review of a horror film in the last 7 days. You can't say Price hates everything.
Not only that, The Naked Gun didn't get a bad. I mean, relatively speaking, that one kind of, it wasn't flying colors, but that one wasn't a bad review either. My last 2 movie reviews have actually been decent. I think people just don't get me. They don't understand me. The thing is also, I don't know. I think that even in a review that I, let's say, give a passing grade, but I have a lot of complaints, so they're like, you don't like anything. It's like, not exactly. I mean, even the James Gunn Superman movie, which I absolutely didn't like, because I thought that it was sort of competently made, I gave it a 60 out of 100. 59 is a failing grade for me. So it was like giving it a D-. And that's what I gave it. And Fantastic Four, because I was bored, I gave it a 55, which is basically a high F. And yeah, I mean, I sometimes I even give movies that I don't like a passing grade, but I don't have to... I don't know how to explain it. You know what? I think I do know how to explain it. This is just off topic, but I'll tell you something. You remember the movie Sound of Freedom? I don't know if I've told you
Yeah.
this before.
Yeah, I
That
remember Sound of Freedom. Yeah.
Sound of Freedom. There was this thing, Sound of Freedom. I don't know if maybe I told you this a long time ago at some point, but basically something happened that actually changed my philosophy in general about how I review stuff because of one reviewer. Basically, I was on Rotten Tomatoes and I saw a guy saying like giving it like a rotten score. It was a rotten movie or whatever it is, and I think that there was a link for some reason that you could listen to a podcast of him talking. I don't really even know why I clicked on it, and I heard the podcast of this bozo talking about Sound of Freedom and what he didn't like about it. And you know what he said? He says in the interview, he goes, "Listen, the movie was competently made. I mean, the camera angles, the directing, the actors, like it was a competently made movie." But then he starts basically saying that because he perceived that the movie had something to do with politics that he didn't like, even though that wasn't even the case, he wouldn't give it like a passing grade. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I thought to myself, and this is a guy on Rotten Tomatoes that you later go and you think, oh, this guy is a serious guy. He's a critic. And I said to myself, I never want to be that guy. You know, it could be a movie that doesn't speak to me and that I don't like anything about it and I don't even like the message and whatever it is. But if it's a movie that somebody made that actually has something about it that works and I acknowledge that, then I have to acknowledge it. That's why the movie Blink Twice, which I would not recommend to anybody in the world. I gave that movie a 60 out of 100, which was a D minus, because I thought it for whatever crap that it was supposed to be that I suffered through. That was a movie that somebody wanted to make. That they wanted to make that movie, and for whatever it is, I suppose it kind of works. It's just that I don't like that movie, and I never want to see it again. And I think nobody should ever watch it, and I still gave it a passing grade. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm a more complicated person. It's not that I'm just looking at everything just to say that it's the worst. I don't give a failing grade to everything. I try to be more balanced, and I don't know. So I'm nitpicky sometimes. What can I do?
Well, you know, I suppose we could talk about our next topic.
What is it?
I don't know. What's the last thing you got to say about DC and all this
DC?
stuff?
I don't know, man. I hope they clean it up. I hope they clean it up, and at least if they do, it'll be a good example to show how you can actually clean things up. And by the way, I want to say something that you said that I saw you talking about in the chat with other people, is that Zoran Mamdani, if he becomes mayor of New York, that will be such a disaster. It really, really.
Yeah. Someone was mentioning Mamdani. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
I don't live in New York anymore, but man, if I lived in New York now, that would really bum me out. It's like, listen, it's not that every mayor that you've had in New York has been great. There have been a lot of ones that haven't been great. And in general, I always tell you, I don't love politicians to begin with, but Zoran Mamdani is not even, everything about him suggests that he shouldn't be the mayor. And I'm not saying that in kind of like, oh, you don't like who he is or what his faith or whatever. It's not any of that. It's the fact that the guy has barely lived in New York. He's not even, I think he's been a US citizen or he's been a citizen only for a number of years. It's not like a guy
7 years, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a guy that why would he be the mayor of New York? You know what I'm saying? Now you can say, well, technically based on the rules he's allowed to run. Yes, but the fact that people are so stupid that they think that this guy is the guy to vote for, this guy is bad news. Everything he's said and done until today has been bad news. All of his philosophies and all of his beliefs are not a good fit for a city like New York. It can literally destroy the city, the kind of policies that he's interested in. So I don't know. I think that it's just so disappointing that those New Yorkers are so dumb that they will actually vote for him. I thought that there were people that were snooty in New York, and that the fact that they would vote for this guy, even all these kind of people that maybe have money would vote for him are stupid.
Yeah. Yep. I don't get it, other than it's just the, young people sometimes like different ideas, no matter how stupid they might be. But yeah. I feel sorry for New Yorkers. I really do, because he's very likely to get elected.
Yeah, I mean, I actually I lived in New York, and I think Bloomberg became the mayor. And man, there was a lot that I could say about Bloomberg that annoyed me because yeah, on one hand, he came with a very kind of business approach to the city, but he did do stuff that was very kind of squeezing everything he could out of the residents, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this city so great so all the billionaires can come here." And that's fine. It's not bad to have some billionaires there, but I feel like along the way, people that were just regular people living there weren't always benefiting from his policies. Not to mention that, there was something that he did where, especially where I was at, I was in an area that had a lot of these kind of cool bars, and you could hang out until late hours relatively and things like that. He started making changes that you can't have a bar open after 2 a.m. You can't have this. You can't have a party. You can't have this. You can't have that. I didn't like that. Now I'm not saying I'm against crime and things like that, but there were parties that people were just having fun, and I think that there's no reason to shut things down. There was a lot of stuff that he did that was just kind of annoying. He was the party pooper bummer mayor. That's how I felt about Bloomberg. And I feel like he stayed for millions of years. I almost feel like he create another term that didn't exist and he stayed there or something. I could be crazy. I feel like he was supposed to leave and he wouldn't leave. But maybe I'm imagining all of this. Like,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's crazy that I think he changed the rules so that he won't leave? I wish I could find that out. How do we find out if he
Well, I don't know. He ran he's a Democrat, right?
I thought he was supposed to be a Republican, but I don't
Was
even
he?
know anymore.
No, I don't know. Phantom Outsider says, "Yep, he got an extra term. He changed the rules."
I knew it. I told you I never like that. Anybody
Yeah.
that does that, usually I don't really like it. I know Trump is saying stuff, but I honestly think that the Trump should finish this term. I think that third terms.
Oh, he's never been serious about a third term. A third term would require a change to the Constitution. It would be impossible. He talks about the third term, and they have the Trump 2028 signs and all of that stuff. It's hilarious because it's all a troll. Because he's already in numerous accounts. He's talked about like who would his successor be, who would be great to run after him. Would it be J.D. Vance? Would it be Marco Rubio? Would it be both of them together? On a ticket together, something like that. Like who would carry on after? But he loves the troll of putting that Trump 2028 stuff out there.
No, as a troll, it's funny. I'm just saying that I think that on a more practical level, it's not really realistic. Now, Sean Green says he was talking about Bloomberg was leaps and bounds better than De Blasio. I agree with you. De Blasio was not. I don't think he was a good mayor. At that point, I was already gone, so there's not a lot for me to say. But he didn't seem like a good mayor to me. But what I'll say is that first of all, I met De Blasio once, and we shook hands. For whatever that's worth. I mean, when the 3 words that he said to me, he didn't seem like on a personal level, just his vibe and energy, it didn't seem like he was the worst person in the world. I just think that maybe he wasn't right to be the mayor. I think that maybe he just wasn't a good fit to be the mayor, although he didn't seem like a bad person, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But I would gladly take like De Blasio over Zoran Mamdani, and I don't even live in New York, so I have nothing to say. But as somebody that used to live there, and I do actually, there is a part of me that likes the city. To have that guy as the mayor is it's making a mockery out of it. I would have taken any of those: De Blasio, Mayor Adams, Bloomberg, Mayor Koch, whatever you throw at me. I would accept all those people over Mamdani, who's he himself is like a troll candidate. You know what I mean? It's not. I don't understand how it's real that guy is running. But strange things have happened, and it looks like he's going to win. I think this guy is actually going to win.
Well, he has the the actual D next to his name. because he's the Democratic candidate, and that's the huge huge thing for him.
Right. They'll just vote for anybody. They don't even
they'll
care.
just vote
They
for
said it's a
whoever has the-
Democratic, they'll vote for him.
It's New York City. They'll vote for the D.
That's true. Tim Hayes says, I assume you still live in the state, Bryce. I live close by, but I don't live in New York. But yeah, I live very close to New York City, but I don't live in New York anymore. So honestly, I feel like I left at a good time. It's not exactly the way it was. I mean, nothing ever stays the same, I guess. Everything is different, but I feel like I still managed to capture a certain vibe of New York that you can't really capture anymore. I think you can't capture it. What do I know?
Yeah.
In any case, we went over all of that stuff, and what was our next thing? I'm trying to find out with all the different streams. I don't even remember what we were supposed to be talking
Let's see.
about.
We wanted to talk about Musk and Apple, James Gunn and Kevin Feige getting
What
desperate.
was first, Musk and Apple?
Yeah.
So what's going on with Musk and Apple? So the thing is, from what I can tell, Musk is annoyed because when he goes into the App Store or whatever it is, they don't recommend that people use Grok. They recommend that they use ChatGPT or whatever it is. And he feels that they're doing some kind of curated situation where he's curated out versus other people that are being recommended over him, not based on any kind of performance, but just because of politics. And
yes,
I'm wondering if do you know what the legalities are? They allowed to do that? Can they do that, or do they owe him anything?
The App Store, they essentially they're allowed to do like whatever they want. There's essentially what he's trying to say is that of all the AI apps that are there, I believe that Grok in the lists of the top items, I would have to gosh, I need to go look and see if I can find a story about it real quick. But as I am remembering what I read about the story, essentially here's a story. Okay. I can share this one. This is just an Apple response here, and we can read through it a little bit and kind of give it, some of the details here. Okay. No. Share. Okay, there we go. Share screen. Share tab. Okay. Top flight technology here at the Night Owl. So, I've shared that. You'll have to share the slide. So, this is story 95 Mac. This is Apple's story site here. Apple responds to Elon Musk's accusations of unequivocal antitrust violation on the App Store. So, just a little bit of background. So, last night, Elon Musk took to X to complain about the fact that Apple never seems to feature either X or Grok on the App Store, claiming the company was unfairly favoring ChatGPT and said XAI would take immediate legal action. So, the whole thing that has been discussed is essentially he is saying that, look, X constantly appears as one of the top news apps in the App Store, that Grok appears like in the top 5 for the AI apps, but yet those apps never get recommendations in the App Store. He's especially hot and under the collar over Grok never getting recommended, because Grok has been, somewhere in the, like I said, in the top 5 for quite some time. Yet they always recommend OpenAI. Now, of course, he's also a little irritated by OpenAI. Do you remember some of the history behind Elon Musk and OpenAI?
I think there was something about him putting up money for something that was supposed to be a not-for-profit, and then they suddenly said, now we're profit, screw you.
Yeah. So he was one of those who helped to found the group originally, with the idea that it would be a non-profit, and its goal was to generate an artificial general intelligence, so more than just LLMs, but to focus on studying and understand artificial general intelligence, and then make that open source, make it something that was available to everyone. So it would be a nonprofit. It would be developing, this stuff. And so over time, that began to change, and they decided that their mission was going to be more profit based, and they were going to have more investors. And they were going to have other stuff, proprietary models and things that they were going to develop. And Musk was very upset about this idea, did not like it. He wanted this open source, thing. And so at one point, what they say is, well, no, he was fine with it becoming a for-profit thing because he tried to become the CEO. He wanted to be the head of the board or whatever. That is true. He did. He tried to, when they were trying to pivot over to it being something that was for profit, he did try to take control of it because he wanted to be able to guide it and potentially guide it back to being a nonprofit. That's what he says anyway. That yes, he did try to lead this new version of it because they were insistent on trying to turn OpenAI into this profit thing, and if that was going to happen, then he wanted to be at the forefront to try and run that ethically. But anyway, so there's all this bad blood between Elon Musk and OpenAI to start with. Now he's, like I said, accusing.
Well, to be fair, that Sam Altman guy. Anytime I don't know. I mean, all these people could be assholes, Sorry, Sean, but that Sam Altman guy looks like such a slippery douche. Anytime there's him talking,
really
you feel like you're being bullshitted by some slippery douche. Even if what they're doing is good, it's still kind of annoying for some reason.
Yeah, so this was Mark Gurman. He's a very prominent Apple reporter at Bloomberg. Says Apple on Elon Musk claims. The App Store is designed to be fair and free of bias. We feature thousands of apps through charts, algorithmic recommendations, and curated lists. That's the key there, though. Curated. Who's curating it? Apple, right? Curated lists selected by experts using objective criteria. Objective criteria, except when they recommend the things that Apple specifically has partnerships with. But anyway, Apple added, our goal is to offer safe discovery for users and valuable opportunities for developers, collaborating with many to increase app visibility in rapidly evolving categories. Musk claims came after he grew frustrated that despite the X app topping the news charts yesterday, it never seemed to be featured on the App Store, apparently making it harder to climb the overall ratings. Likewise, over the past few days, and despite launching new features and making Grok 4 free for all users, the Grok app only reached 5th place overall and 2nd in the productivity category. By contrast, he claims Apple's constant promotion of ChatGPT made it impossible for any AI company besides OpenAI to reach number 1 in the App Store. So essentially, he's saying, look, you've only spent time featuring this one platform, this one particular thing, and that means that all of the others, including X, including Grok, are at a disadvantage. So it's just funny. There's a little thing where they ask Grok about it, saying, does, because Sam Altman came out essentially saying that, Musk is just as guilty as anybody. He's manipulated the algorithm at X. He's manipulated the algorithm in Grok and all sorts of stuff to make himself look good, blah, blah, blah. Make sure that his posts get boosted and whatever. And so, there's been a back and forth now between him and Sam Altman, kind of insulting each other and whatnot. The lawsuit continues despite Musk's promise of immediate legal action by XAI. No suit appears to have been filed today. Apple's statement to Gurman suggests it's taking the threat seriously, but its pointed use of the word safe is a not so subtle nod to Grok's recent controversies, including anti-Semitic content and the release of the sexualized companion chatbots. Oh, by the way, so gross. So gross. I'm sorry. Did you check that out? Did you look at those?
No,
Bryce?
is that the thing where it's kind of like it looks like an anime character of sorts?
Yeah.
But I only saw people sharing something, but I don't even know what it is. What is that?
So essentially they've got these companion chat app things that you can put in there as part of Grok, and like I would assume you saw the movie Her, right, Price?
I skipped that movie. I know
You
which movie it
you
is.
didn't
It's
see that one,
Scarlett
but
Johansson
yeah,
as an
yeah,
AI.
Scarlett
Yeah.
Johansson's so the idea is essentially they're going to create they're creating this little AI companion, and it's more than just sort of talking to a window, talking to a chat bot, right? There's this little AI companion that sort of has little reactions to you and whatever, so you can kind of form a relationship with it. Personally, I find that revolting. I have no interest in that whatsoever, especially if it's going to be some infantilized, young girl looking thing. Like that just, I'm sorry, that feels extremely creepy.
All of this seems very weird to me. I just haven't. I don't even know what. I don't know how to activate this, and I wasn't looking to do it. I don't want to talk to some weird AI lady. It sounds strange to me. I don't. It's not. I
Yeah,
prefer if it's a real lady. I just don't. I don't
Yeah.
want the AI lady. Seems stupid to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the thing is, like, there's actually been a number of different apps that have tried similar things. There's been different platforms where they're essentially like they're trying to create this companion for you, who can be, like your girlfriend, essentially, right? It's this AI driven companion that you can talk to and ask questions of, and they can ask you, the AI can ask you about yourself and whatever. And it's just, I'm sorry, it just grosses me out. I don't even know how to feel about this. The idea that there are young people that are into this, that like they instead of having real relationships with other human beings, they're totally fine with some fake ass anime looking girl with bouncy jugs or whatever on their phone. That's going to be the relationship that they're going to rely on to, you know to get them through their lives. That's weird. That's just weird. And but anyway, yeah, that's, there's been a lot. I don't know, what do you think about these threats, Price? I mean, it seems weird to me, but
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I think that this may be a little more tricky for Elon Musk to pull off. But you know what? Nobody enjoys when a guy who's the richest guy in the world brings a bunch of fancy lawyers and just they won't leave you alone. They probably don't enjoy that as well. And Elon Musk himself has a lot of places that he could air his grievances, which is also something that probably you wouldn't love. I'm sure that they don't really want a lawsuit, and I think that Elon Musk himself probably realizes that a lawsuit may be more of a headache than it's worth. But not that I think he wouldn't sue. I mean, what does he care? He just sues. In the worst case, it doesn't work.
Yeah, he
but
doesn't have to
what
worry about the Gina Carano suit anymore. So.
I don't think he lost even one wink of sleep with that. I
Yeah.
think that he just wanted to throw a monkey wrench into Disney's wheels, and he totally did it. He got them running scared with that lawsuit, and it achieved the exact effect that they wanted to achieve. And I think in the future, the next time somebody asks Bob Iger or anybody at Disney some questions about Elon Musk, I think that they are going to be very, very careful in how they answer that question, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yep. I think you
if
are
if
right.
if that was his move there to try to say like, oh, you want to say weird shit about me, well, sorry, Sean, well, this is what happens when you do. And I feel like Disney in the future, whatever they have to say, they'll say it quietly in some boardroom to each other. I don't think that again, Bob Iger is going to sit there on a stage and say a bunch of stuff that'll like that in public. So
You would imagine that
yeah,
they would start thinking twice about that.
it
Yeah.
could be that, if Apple is smart right now, they maybe from time to time recommend it. I also not that I mean, I'm sure Apple recommends a lot of crappy apps from crappy people, so don't think that I'm justifying what they're saying. But maybe things still have to be polished with Grok before they recommend it. I mean, what you were saying with the assistant lady, girlfriend, woman animation, maybe that's a bit much. Maybe there's other things, like you said, like when Grok went off the rails and was saying all this crazy stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't help his case. I mean, I understand that if this went to court, they could say that, and it probably could mean something in court. I don't know how it would all turn out, but it doesn't seem like a slam dunk win for me. This case of that Musk is talking about. If nothing else, he can put them in the hot seat, and that I'm sure he'll do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, back in the day when he wasn't fighting with Trump, he also had the ear of the president, and suddenly Trump could get annoyed and do something that would be negative. Do you get what I'm saying? He lost an ally in that
Mhm.
sense.
Yep. So yeah. I mean, he has come. He has tried to rebuild that bridge on several occasions. So far, it has not been successful.
I mean, listen, I think that he really went very far in what he did. There are certain things that I feel like a point. I'm not saying maybe Trump at the end of the day, he's a businessman, and maybe if there's a way before the midterms to do something where they're on speaking terms again, maybe somebody there will make an effort to do that. I also don't know. I mean, Elon Musk, he was like, I want my own party. I want the America Party. I want my own candidates. I want my own Congress people. I don't know what he was talking about or how serious he was. If I were Elon Musk, I would just take a step back from politics. I think that he should focus on companies and technology and things like that because I think he's better at that. And when it comes to Trump, I think that Trump probably would have let a lot slide, but that thing that he posted about the Jeffrey Island, that one is not an easy one to get over, I think.
Yeah. Oh, just popping off. Oh well, yeah. Trump's in the Epstein files.
That was some very harsh things that he said there, and I
Yeah.
think that if he would have said all the other crap and left that alone, I think that maybe he would be in a better position. Once he said that, when I saw it, I'm like, man, this is no joke. When he said it, that's what I was thinking to myself, at least.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I can tie these two subjects together. Press. I have a great little segue between
What?
this and our next subject.
How are you going to get from this to Superman and Fantastic Four?
we're talking about we're here saying maybe Grok has a little bit more work that needs to be done, right? And so as it happens, this weekend I had some interesting conversations with Grok because some people were really, really upset that I would dare make a post, a reply to a rather popular account saying that Superman was not profitable, that it had not made a profit at the box office. Some people were really, really upset.
Who did you say this to? Now I'm curious.
This was on Discussing Film. I replied to one of their posts saying that Superman was overperforming, or it was the number one box office, whatever. Essentially saying, yeah, but it still hasn't made a profit, and people lost their friggin' minds and started attacking me, saying, oh, I'm making up stuff. Oh, you're a Snyder bro. Oh, you can't handle that this movie was a success. Oh, whatever. So one of the things that happened was that there were numerous people that tried to pull in Grok to try to tell me that I was a liar and that the movie was profitable. And so then I had to have some other discussions with Grok, say, okay, so the movie's profitable, huh? Well, what about these numbers? Go get these numbers from Variety, and based on the basic, based on the basic, calculations that are made as to how, a movie is profitable at the box office. Was it actually profitable? And eventually, after having conversations, and Grok changing its figures, getting figures from one place, getting figures from another, changing how it did its equations, whatever, got Grok to admit that no, in fact, even based on the numbers that we have right now, Superman has not made a profit.
No, Superman has not made a profit, and the thing is, I also said in a video that everybody's like, no, it's so great. It's so great. Like these numbers are great. So if these numbers are great, I said, well, imagine how great Man of Steel numbers were. Do you get what I'm saying? If this is so wonderful, Man of Steel in 2013 made made close to $670 million at the box office, which adjusted for inflation now is more like 900 million or something like that. So basically, do you get what I'm trying to say? Now,
Oh,
now
yeah.
the thing is, you know, I never said I was the biggest fan of Man of Steel. For me, Man of Steel, I've told you before, I sort of have mixed feelings in the sense that there's parts of it that I absolutely can't stand, and there's parts of it that I like the visual style, I like the casting of the characters, I like the music, I like the epic feel of the movie, but there's some creative choices there that I have issues with. With all of that being said, and this is just for me, I know you probably feel differently than me. I felt that Man of Steel was a Superman movie that I had issues with, whereas James Gunn's Superman felt like not even a Superman movie. It just felt like a movie that I had issues with, but I didn't feel like I was watching a Superman movie, and that's what really bothered me with that movie, uh, with James Gunn's movie. So that's how I feel about the movies. But regardless of my sentiments, Man of Steel did do better than Superman, and I said it. I've been saying it, and I'm still saying that. Because there's all these articles. It's almost like Warner Brothers are desperate. And James Gunn himself is too. It's so important that all these articles explain that he did better than Zack Snyder. But the truth is, he didn't do better than Zack Snyder. Now, you may like his movie better, you may not like his movie. It doesn't matter. Objectively speaking, he didn't do better than him.
No, not at all. We have all the and that was one of the things that continually came up. They're like, oh well, I guess you think that Superman Man of Steel. I guess you don't think it made a profit either. Not at the box office, it didn't.
Man of Steel, according to Klobby. Listen,
Yeah.
Klobby was great, and I
Yep.
loved his takes on
Love
stuff,
Klobby.
and I loved his the terms he would coin, and Man of Steel is funny, and I
Yeah.
the only thing I'll say is I don't know what Klobby would have thought about James Gunn's Superman.
No, I mean, nobody can claim to know what he
Nobody
what he
could
would have
claim
thought
to know.
of it. But yeah, I can guess at certain things. I don't think he would have liked the Superman uniform at all. I
don't think he would have liked what they did with Jor-El. I think that there would be certain things about this movie that he wouldn't like.
Yeah.
Maybe as a guy that was such an expert in comics, there were certain elements
he
of
would
it.
he would have had some very interesting takes on some of the choices.
I really wish
they
he was
made.
here. I really wish, that was a movie that I was so curious to hear what his thoughts were. And it's moments like that, and also Fantastic Four came out, and I would have loved to have heard his thoughts about that. So those were two movies that I would have absolutely enjoyed hearing Klobby's takes on. Unfortunately, all we can do is sort of imagine what he may have said or not said, but we'll like you said, we'll
his
never.
birthday recently passed just a few days ago, so yeah, rest in peace, Klobby. You definitely missed in our community. He was quite the guy.
Absolutely.
But yeah, no, it was fascinating to hear the people just coming out of the woodwork, just losing their damn minds over me saying that the movie had not made a profit. First of all, people coming out saying, no, it's this person, that person all came out and said it made a profit. And it's like, okay, so what numbers are they using to try and tell us that? Because I'm looking at the only third party numbers we have, which was Variety, not numbers that the studio has given us, not James Gunn coming out and saying, well, that would be stupid for us to make a movie that had to make 600 million to be profitable. Like, just all of these studios, I think studios lie out their asses. That's what they do. That is how they operate, because they have a vested interest in ensuring that the movie appears to be profitable. that it appears to be doing well at the box office. That's why you always get the the #1 movie in the box office for such and such weekend or whatever, when that's not really much of a win because it didn't have to compete with much of anything, but yet they still come out and say that stuff, right? Because it's sort of factually true, but in the reality, when you break it down, what they've said doesn't really mean anything, because because it competing in that, right? And then all of these people coming, they're like, oh, Grace Randolph says it was profitable.
Yeah,
Campea says it's profitable. Okay, if you go and look at Grace Randolph, what did she base her numbers on? The old calculation of 2.5 times the budget. Well, 2.5 times the budget doesn't work for tentpole films. Because they spend way more on marketing than that 0.5 is supposed to make up in the box office.
So you have to go ×3 minimum. And honestly, there's a double problem here. First of all, these days, almost every big studio like this, when they say they have a tentpole movie, they say what the budget is. After about a year or two, some document leaks from somewhere, and it turns out it was additional 100 mil or 200 mil that they didn't even talk about, but they just didn't want to talk about it initially, so they wanted to make it seem like it's a success. Then you have the marketing, which it used to be 50% of the production budget. Now the production budget, you're not even sure what that is, and the marketing budget is double what you thought it would be.
Oh, so, yeah, they've the third part of the Variety numbers, said it was 125. I'm sorry. There's another 50 million in there that they're not accounting for at minimum.
Hollywood Reporter
it's 175 to 200. It's 175 to 200 easily. If you look, just look around at the marketing that they did. Not just in the US, but internationally, right? And yes, I know that there's some deals where they get, some payback on the marketing because they partnered with this restaurant or that brand or whatever. I know that there's some of that stuff in there, but it's not enough to bring that budget, that marketing budget down by half. It's not going to happen. Same thing happened with Man of Steel, right? They had all these things, and then we found out in the end they spent this massive amount on marketing, but then they got back like 40 million, something like that, like in partnerships or whatever. But no, this idea that it is the 2.5x on the 225 budget. That means it only had to hit 560 in order for it to hit profitability. It's like, no, we basically know, at least we know what has been leaked out by different industry people, what that marketing budget was, and it wasn't 112 million. It was 125 and up. Right. So if we take those two numbers, 350, you multiply that out times 2, 700 at minimum is what it needed to break even. And it's very likely they spent, if let's give it to them, they spent 225 on the movie. They really did. There's no way marketing was only 125. It was way bigger than that.
The Hollywood Reporter says 200 million. Even if we do like an average between Variety and the other one, this thing didn't. It wasn't less than 165 or something like that. I think even more.
Yeah. So we just give it this number. We say, okay, yeah, it's there, but it still has not. It still has not made a profit. And people are, well, why do you care if it makes a profit? And I'm like, I care about it because everyone should be honest about this. If you're so upset about this movie not making a profit, or you're so intent on saying, oh, well, look at this movie, it's a flop because it didn't make a profit. Well, let's be honest about the numbers here. Did it make a profit?
Also,
no, it didn't. It has not hit profitability, and it's not going to hit profitability. Right now, the analysts are saying this movie tops out at like 652. So it's not going to be
right now. They're not even. The thing is that today they announced that it's going to be streaming on August 15th, which is 3 days from now. So if people thought that,
so the box office is dead.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It's done.
No, and not only is it done, it looks like Warner Brothers are raising a white flag, meaning if Warner Brothers is like, we're immediately putting this on streaming, not a good sign. It's
Yeah,
not a
then
good sign at all.
that means they know it's not making money in the box office anymore. What did it
No.
only made 8 million this last week?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Something like
plateaued. There's not a lot they can still make. They're not making money internationally. There's barely any they can do here locally. I think this movie, if it's now being released on demand in the next 3 days, I think that it making 600 at this point will be considered an achievement. Maybe somehow it could do like 610 or 620, but it falls somewhere between 600 to 620 in my opinion at this point. That's really nothing to write home about. And at the end of the day, here's the thing. I'm not a Snyder bro, and I said it, but I also don't like this dishonesty. I mean, when he was there, they said that they expected him to make more money. They wanted him to make more money, and they felt he didn't make enough. So how is James Gunn making enough for them? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't say that guy didn't make money, and then this guy. It doesn't even matter how I feel about his movies. The other thing is that I understand that they parted ways with him, but there was a moment that Zaslav came back. It looked like maybe they were going to do something with Henry Cavill. It looked like they were bringing, Ben Affleck back in the fold. There was potential to at least do, like I said, I've said this like a broken record. I think that they needed to do one movie at least to try to wrap up whatever that universe was. Was it a shitty universe that they made so many mistakes? Sorry, Sean. Were they super annoying? All of that is true, but I think that they deserved, the customers deserved some movie to be the end, to bookend whatever that was and say, this is it. This is the final chapter or whatever this is. And instead of doing that, they brought James Gunn. James Gunn, I've always thought that, and I still think this, he's kind of a douche. He walked in, he quickly got rid of everybody. He basically did a series of meetings where he got rid of Henry Cavill, got rid of Gal Gadot, got rid of Ben Affleck, got rid of them all on the spot. He had a lot of very fancy explanations for why he did it. Now, the thing is, if he already did that, and I think everybody was saying it then, and I at least said that even in my videos, which I think I played for you recently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not mistaken. It was a late hour, but I think I played some part of a video for you, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Did that happen? Now I don't know. It's like a Mandela effect.
I mean, you pull it up if you want. I don't care.
No, but did I play a video for you where I was talking about James Gunn? A video from like I think 2023 where I said, look at how I said
Yeah,
this.
I think I remember something like that. Yeah.
Never mind. I think I did that. In any case,
Yeah.
I won't do it again. But what I will say is that at the time I said James Gunn came in here. I said it in other words, but he came in using the swinging dick approach. Okay, he walks in. I'm James Gunn. You're all fired. I'm doing it my way. I have my vision. I have everything lined up. I know exactly what I want to do. You guys are out of here. Now I want to bring my own people that I want to be in these movies. It's going to be done my way. When a person walks in and does that kind of swinging, he better deliver. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I would have gone to see his movie, and his movie would have been, honestly, just an amazing Superman movie that I thought was amazing, I would have said, you know what? The guy came, he swung his dick, but you know what? He delivered. The problem is that he did all this dick swinging, all this babbling, all this like backstabbing of people, all this bullshitting with the press and all this stuff. And at the end of the movie, maybe some people like it more than others. Some people kind of like it. Some people like it. Some people don't like it at all. And in any case, it was a divisive movie. I still believe, even though whatever you want to say about Snyder people or not Snyder, or Gunn people or not Gunn people, I think there's a way to make a Superman movie that maybe would have a mass appeal. It's just that I don't know that Snyder or James Gunn did that, but I still think that Snyder did something, in my opinion, that had. I mean, the results speak for themselves when it comes to the box office. I think that Man of Steel had more appeal to a wider audience. I have issues with it because of what they did with Jonathan Kent, because of the way Zod was killed, and because of those battles at the end that he's just destroying buildings and people, and he doesn't even care or seem to even stop to think about it. Those are weird things. And I think that in Batman versus Superman, they tried to sort of address that, but I don't ever think that was properly addressed. So those are things that are not small issues for me with Man of Steel, but it doesn't matter what I think and don't think. I think that James Gunn isn't this kind of consensus that he made himself out to be, and he didn't make a movie that was like a home run. Do you get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. Or I shared a little sample of the type of people that I got to argue with this weekend. So I saying, it's it's the number one movie or whatever of the summer, which is not true. That's only if it's domestic. But it's the number one domestic movie, and I said, oh well, it didn't make a big deal. It still didn't make a profit. And so these are the types of people I was facing. Yeah. Oh, learn math, dipshit. It's not only broken even, it's in a profit. To which he gives me a John Campea video to try and prove.
These
it's
are just so annoying. John
profitable.
Campea, the fact that this dude would think that John Campea or Campea, whatever his name is, that he would even, it's like that when he says something, you know that it's the opposite of the truth.
Exactly. Yeah.
This is like the opposite of proving something. If you now say, hey, if you and I now didn't know anything about a topic, and we wondered what we were wondering about it, and we needed a decisive answer, and we both saw John Campea clip and we pressed play, we know that whatever he's saying, it's the opposite. Whatever it is that he's saying is not true. More often than not. Maybe once in a while, I don't know what it is, a broken clock can also be right twice a day or whatever the thing is, but generally speaking, whenever he speaks about something, it's coming from a place of access, of shill. He is an ultra shill. He's an annoying shill, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And then there was someone else who kept showing me Grace Randolph, sending me a Grace Randolph video. See, it's profitable, whatever. So, but yeah, so then I just laid out, look, Variety's numbers, 225, 125, 350. I don't trust those numbers, but for the sake of the argument, let's just say, okay, that times 2, that's 700. Current box office 579. That's $121 million off. There's other arguments where I pulled in. I was like, okay, look, hey Grok, what is the current current estimates of what the box office will be for this movie? And it would tell me it's like it's still shy of 700. It is not made its money, even if you accept these basic numbers, which I think the numbers are higher. And then this guy comes back in. Oh, well, you did the equation wrong, dumbass. When you're using production budget and marketing together, you multiply by 1.5, not 2.
Okay. No.
I'm sorry, but what?
Okay. I can answer. I can't believe I can't believe I can answer this question, but I can actually answer this stupid thing that we saw here. You know why he wrote that? I am 90% sure I saw this. I believe that in one of his latest videos, John Campea said that back in his youth or something, or early in his career, he worked at AMC, the company, or something like that. And that's where he learned. I mean, he doesn't mention that I think he was like an intern that made coffee, but he mentions that part of the immense knowledge that he learned there was that if you take the production budget and the marketing budget, you combine them, and you then multiply them by 1.5, that's how much money you need in order to have a movie break even. He said that on one of his streams. Now, keep in mind that he was saying that when all this stuff wasn't going well for Gunn. And if you look at like his history, he actually has hung out with Gunn. Gunn came to like be a guest on his thing. There's multiple pictures of him with Kevin Feige. I guess what I'm saying is, this guy knows these people. I'm not saying that they're his best friend, but he's the type of guy that he is 100% in the mix, in the access. And that's why anything he says, it has no relevance to me. I don't believe one word that he's saying. As far as I'm concerned, it could be that Gunn called him and said, hey, can you just say that? And then he said yes and said it. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm telling you that's the level of how much this guy is in with this kind of shill access situation, this Campea guy. That's his whole career. He doesn't say anything true about anything.
Access media. Yeah, he's just
like, it's more than even the legacy or mainstream media. He is the very definition of access media. He's Mr. Access. You give him access, he'll just stand there and say how great your movie is, no matter what. Even if it's the shittiest movie, he'll say it.
Yeah.
So
That's
I
interesting. Okay. But yeah, I was like, I'm like, I'm sorry, but how does that math even work? 1.5? That was so what? They get to keep more than 60% of the box office to get, or marketing money only costs them half as much. That's like, that makes absolutely no freaking sense whatsoever. Like the studio gets to keep 52%, depends on what estimate you're talking about, whatever. They get to keep about that much. So it's double. They at the box office, they got to make double what they spent on it. Now, if you want to say, well, they're profitable on the budget. Okay, fine. But they still have hundreds of millions of dollars of expense
I can
that they have to
actually
pay back
answer.
somewhere. It's massively stupid.
Even this dum-dum, what I'll tell you is this. If you take the marketing budget, which was, according to Hollywood Reporter, 200 million, and you take the production budget, which nobody believes was 225, but let's pretend, and you say that's 425, even then, I believe that this movie needs 637 million just to break even if you use a stupid calculation. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
still not even there.
Yeah, but and then one of the I had numerous people who tried to tell me it only needed to make 350 to be profitable.
You know what's weird is that some people that actually I trust in our circles were like, kind of trying to go to bat for this movie. And I'm not 100% sure why. I mean, it's fine if people like a movie. And I understand that sometimes when somebody likes a movie, they want to see more of it. And they feel like, well, if some people are going to say they don't like it and maybe it'll get a bad vibe and people won't go to it and it'll fail, we won't get more of them. But I can't operate that way. And I've said this to you before. There was the Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning, that part 7 one, not the 8th one that came out recently. And I know some people that didn't really love that movie. I actually really enjoyed it. I went to the theater, I saw it, I enjoyed it. I said to myself, this is the type of movie that I wish I could see all the time in the theater. Like, I like these kind of action movies. It's up my alley. It's like a grand big picture and all that. But the movie didn't do well at the box office. Now, I could sit here and give you a bunch of mitigating circumstances and the coup and the budget and all this stuff that went overboard and all these mistakes that were made. But the bottom line is this: the movie did not make money. At the end of the day, it's a movie that lost money. You could think to yourself that maybe over time, Mission Impossible movies, they have a collectability, and maybe over time they will somehow make their money back. Maybe, but it wasn't a movie that got back its money. I can't not say that it flopped, because it flopped. Even though it made a lot of money, it cost even more to make it. And number 8, which came out this year, that one wasn't a very good movie. It was very, very mediocre. And that one as well cost more than it was worth, and it didn't make money. And I think that technically it would be a flop. Now, I'm willing to say that about movies, even if I enjoyed them, even though the 8th one I didn't really like that much. But I'm saying I'm willing to accept that a movie, even if I enjoyed it, maybe it's not something that works, or maybe it doesn't make money. That happens sometimes. But there's no point in being delusional.
Yeah. Oh, and there's people, you think that someone would put out a movie that needs to hit 700 million to be profitable? Do you think everyone in Hollywood is just the dumbest people ever? No one's going to set themselves up for failure like that. I just really want to be like, say that with Doomsday Coming, that's going to have a $600 million budget, and that's not even counting what it's going to cost to do the accounting. What about Rise of Skywalker? That movie wasn't going to see profitability unless it hit $1.5 billion from all the marketing and the outrageous amount of money they spent.
That was one of the biggest lies ever. They said that they spent like 200 and 200, and it turned out that they
spent almost 700.
It's insane. It is insane. That is the most insane thing for such a piece of shit movie.
Yeah. Well, and then just this year we got Brave New World, which is like, they said the budget was 180. They easily doubled that, probably tripled it with all the reshoots, and then they also had a huge marketing push to go with it. So they probably all in spent nearly $500 or $600 million on that. So they had to make over $1 billion to be profitable. But people were like, no, the budget was 180. There was a profitable movie.
With a budget of 400. With a
Sure.
budget, I want to show you something.
Yeah.
This is very, very important, Professor.
And then people, of course, were constantly calling me Snyder Bro, and everything.
They always say that. I don't know what they want.
I bet you think that Man of Steel made profit. I'm like, no, it didn't. It didn't make a profit at the box office. It did eventually make a profit. I think it's really slim. It was only like 6% over the budget or whatever, and over the spend, but it was it was almost nothing.
With a budget, can you see this? With a budget of over $416 million.
Yeah. And then they dropped 200 million on
at least
marketing.
At least. See, it is the third most expensive film ever made. You didn't know that until years later.
Yeah.
When this came out, they did not tell you that this was the number. They were not going to reveal this to anybody. Somehow this surfaced years later. And I think that this is very telling. That's why after I see something like this, I don't believe any of these people. I think they're all a bunch of liars. And this is just a situation where it was discovered. But this happens more often than not, that they just give a number and it's not the real number. And man, $416 million for that piece of shit movie, unbelievable. Basically, this needed... These days, you can't go by less than ×3 because of all the bullshit. So this needed, let's say, $1.25 billion minimum to break even.
Yeah, 1.25 to 1.5 million. Yeah,
something like that. It did not. It lost money. Rise of Skywalker was a flop. And really, when you think about it, it's not even the only big flop. You had Indiana Jones and the... Dial of Destiny.
Yeah,
for a second I couldn't even remember what that movie was called because I blocked it out of my mind.
Yeah, you just blocked it. Your mind was trying to protect you from having to remember that.
Right, having to remember that I saw that. It was such an awful movie. It was so awful. The feeling that I felt sitting and watching it was the worst feeling. It was so terrible. I can't believe that while I was watching it, I thought to myself that Crystal Skull wasn't such a bad movie after all. That's how bad Dial of Destiny was.
Well, the funny thing about Crystal Skull is it really wasn't that bad until the third act, when it went completely off the rails and got incredibly stupid. The only thing that was really just unforgivable in the early parts of the film was the stupidity of him. Well, it was the monkeys way later in the film. Yeah, like into the second act, beginning of the third. But yeah, the only thing that was unforgivable early on in the film was the stupid surviving a nuclear explosion in a refrigerator thing. That was just dumb as hell.
That was very stupid, yes.
For a while, I actually was enjoying that movie when in the theater. I was having a good time. And then, we got to the monkeys and ants and all this. I'm like, oh my God, can I leave the theater yet?
There was just a lot of stuff. Yeah, but the only thing I said, though, even when I reviewed, I think, Dial of Destiny, is that for all of its flaws, I still felt that Indiana Jones was Indiana Jones in that movie. Do you get what I'm saying? I felt like this was a version that's an older version of his character. And it's not that I watched it and I said, this isn't Indiana Jones. I don't know who this person is. Whereas with Dial of Destiny, that's how I felt. I'm like, I don't know who this man is. This isn't Indiana Jones. Don't know who this person is. This is just a load of crap. That's what I thought when I saw Dial of Destiny. Completely different feeling than Crystal Skull. Crystal Skull feels like a missed opportunity because you still had Harrison Ford maybe at the last age that he could have pulled this off barely. You know what I mean? It's barely, but you could have sent him out on one last adventure. They could have done it better. At least they had him end up with Marion. I thought that was kind of nice. He discovers he had a son, even if his son is Shia LaBeouf. It's better than nothing, I guess. There was no need to do anything beyond that. The idea of making this Dial of Destiny was just such a shitty idea to begin with. Sorry, Sean.
Yeah, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. Just one more franchise that Kathleen Kennedy has overseen.
How much was that movie?
Utter destruction. Oh, there were rumors that one cost nearly $500.
Okay,
because they were in
budget for
constant reshoots.
Some of these things we won't even know because they don't want us to know. That's what I'm telling you. The production budget for Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny was $387.2 million.
Even that, without any
Wait,
additions, that's
however,
way too freaking much.
But then, however, other sources cite the budget as high as 4.2. Kathleen Kennedy is the worst producer ever. She is the worst. She's not capable of doing the minimum thing here.
Yeah, and that doesn't include the 125 million minimum spend they had on marketing. So, yeah, that's
So that movie needed to make like another case where it
Yeah.
needed to make like $1.2 billion, and it made 384 million. So another case in which I don't know if there's an executive that's lost so much money as much as Kathleen Kennedy in the past maybe 10 years. And maybe instead of giving her awards and stuff, I think they should check with like Guinness Book of World Records who the producer is that lost the most money over the course of a decade. And if she's the one, they should come out and give her a prize. You know how they add you to the book and they say like, you did it, you spent all the money. You made the
Great
biggest
job.
flops. The biggest flops are you. Here's your award. That's the only award she should be given. The biggest flops. Instead, they like invite her and tell her how stunning and brave she is.
Yeah.
It really is bonkers.
Yeah. I have never seen this film. I will never see this film. I have zero interest
You know,
in ever seeing Dial of Destiny.
the only reason I watched it was because I needed to review it.
Yeah, I understand.
I do reviews on my channel, and it wouldn't be there can't be a movie like this and that I won't see and review it. It just it doesn't feel right to me to not do it. If I wasn't a movie reviewer, if I I'm not saying I also, it's not like I'm Siskel and Ebert. I don't know. I don't even know if anybody watches my movie reviews, but you know what I'm trying to say, that that at the end of the day, I still feel responsibility. By the way, I want to tell you an anecdote which I thought was funny. You know how you were talking about those kind of people that got upset at you in the thread with Superman?
Yeah.
You have not seen some of the comments I got on my recent videos on my YouTube channel. Some of the biggest weirdos. But there was one
I'm
comment.
sure.
There was
I'm
one
sure.
comment that really bothered me. It wasn't even a bother me, but I just have to tell you what happened. So I look, and some guy writes to me, well, obviously you're running a small time channel and you're not even able to manage that, or something like that in his comment, or something along those lines. So I said to myself, when I saw that comment is like that explained that I was small time and running a small operation and that I'm dumb or whatever it is, I said to myself, I better click on this guy's YouTube channel. He better have 1 million followers. Do you get what I'm trying to say? If you're going to
Yeah.
come to another channel and talk like that, you better be the hottest shit. You know what I mean? I said to
Oh,
myself, if I click on this now,
absolutely.
this guy has like 1 million followers, I'll say, you know what? Fine. He can come and say that I'm small time. You know what I mean? 100,000.
It's the exact same thing was happening in that chat on X Price. There were people go, oh, just some dumbass rando with a podcast, whatever. 'Cause they would look at, and I'm like, okay, one, it's not a podcast, it's a live stream. Two, I love that you're calling me the dumbass rando when you have 7 followers.
Right. It's always
kinda like, great job. You and your 7 followers. Go enjoy watching John Campea and whatever Campea, whatever his name is.
I never
Go enjoy Grace Randolph. It's the perfect entertainment for you and your low IQ 7 followers. Like, go have fun.
I mean, I'm trying to think, maybe if there was a situation, there have been a few situations that maybe somebody comes and says, oh, this talks a really big game, and then you look and they have like 0 followers. That's happened to me before. And I'm like, dude, you have 0 followers. Like, please, like, stop pretending that like you're really anybody gives a shit. I've had
Yeah.
situations like that. I don't love attacking somebody over the number of followers they have. This person was on YouTube and I didn't want to answer them, but I clicked on the link and they had about 10% more followers than me. Meaning if I'm small time, then so is he. Do you get what I'm saying? Like if you're gonna come in and say all this crap, you better have at minimum like 100, 200,000 followers. if you're going to make a statement like that. And at the end that he has something in the same range as what I have, it's like, I didn't even answer the guy. I'm just, people are just so stupid. And just so you know, there were actually other comments that were like this guy, but then I clicked on theirs and they had either 0 subs or like 20 subs. I don't even really care. It's just like, I don't understand the logic. Maybe it's like an overcompensating situation. If
Yeah.
if you're not a person that has like a big following, to come to somebody else and kind of quote unquote not even quote unquote, just make fun of his following is really strange to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Once, oh, look, you get 270 followers in a podcast. Sounds like a real loser to me. And then I go look at the guy's account and he has 18 followers. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, dude. Sure. And he's like, oh, I only use this account to make fun of dumbasses like you. And I'm like,
Right.
huh?
I mean, that I also heard. What do you want? I don't even want to, like, I didn't even want to
I'm like,
have followers.
I don't even like, I literally couldn't care less about clout. So like,
all I care about is
what's your point, dummy?
all I care about is making videos, and if people enjoy them, that's great. And all I can do is just any video I put out, it's something that I 100% feel and I'm okay with. If I was just a person that did, like, clickbait or whatever you want to call it, then I would probably have significantly more subscribers now, because there have been so many times that that you could do a video about something that maybe will get some kind of attention. There's channels that are experts at this that you just, I don't even want to, there's one guy that I sometimes run into, and I won't say his name or who he is or whatever, but man, that person, he'll make a dramatic video about anything. There's things that are just dumb. And if you look at that person's video, he'll turn it into this whole thing. You click on it and it's just a bunch of nothing. And some people do that and they're very successful at that. And I don't want to knock anybody's hustle. If you do that and people enjoy your videos and you have an audience for it, that's really, really cool. But I actually don't do that. I think that if I did that, I probably would be, have more followers, more whatever. I really try to do stuff that I feel comfortable with. And yeah, lately I did some of these James Gunn videos, but the reason why I did them is probably because of all those comments. Meaning, initially I just said that I didn't like the movie and people were being really mean about it. And then I did like a follow-up that I explained something about the box office and people were even meaner about it. And it kind of just motivated me. Now I'm like, okay, well, let's see what happens now. And it's almost like all this thing that they're like, bro, you're lying. Bro, you're lying. I'm not lying. I'm not lying about anything. I guess the more they say that, the more I feel like making another video. Maybe there's something wrong with me.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's enough about DC. What about Marvel? Kevin Feige.
Marvel is
There's desperation.
Did you see what happened today with that desperation?
No, share.
Okay, so what happened is Ryan Reynolds yesterday, I think in the middle of the night, he shared this kind of thing on his Instagram where he's like, it says Avengers, and it has the way he writes Avengers, like, in his writing, and he posted it on Instagram. And that's sort of a hint that he's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. The reason all of this is happening, at least in my opinion, is that Bob Iger, or whoever it is, probably called Kevin Feige and said, you got to do something. This thing with Fantastic Four is a disaster. So first of all, maybe in hopes of getting a few other people to just go and see this movie before it drops out of this theater, adding a little buzz that the next movie that may tie into this one somehow will have Deadpool in it. Well, Deadpool is the only thing that made money for these guys in the past few years, real money.
Yeah.
So now I don't know what role Deadpool was supposed to have, if at all, but now it's serious. Now they want you to know that Deadpool is in Avengers. And to me, this all just reeks of desperation. It's kind of like they wanted a good buzz. They wanted to change the conversation. Reminds me of stuff that happened with James Gunn and how he suddenly had the Supergirl poster, and how you also had these articles that I forgot to tell you. I just did a video about this. there's articles saying that Warner Brothers really want to see Jason Momoa, more of him in the Supergirl movie, because I guess he's supposed to be Lobo, and they saw some footage and they're like, we want more Jason Momoa. And I think that part of that isn't just because they like Jason Momoa so much. It's more that they think that Jason Momoa at the end, at some point, made a few dollars for them. Do you get what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Maybe they're thinking to
not just that, but perhaps just maybe all the men that go to see this movie want a masculine character in the film.
Right, and I think that they sort of, according to this, this article, I think it was Matt McGloin that actually got an exclusive on this. That basically they saw what was going on with Lobo. They saw some dailies, got really, sort of quote unquote excited, and they said, we need more of this. We need more Jason Momoa in the movie. And now his role is apparently being expanded. That's the rumor. Well, when Supergirl comes out, we'll see if that's all true or not. But that's what's being discussed right now. And I actually think it's not a coincidence that all of this has happened very recently. I think that when they saw this movie and they understand that the next one is going to be Supergirl, they want a movie that people will go see. Now, Jason Momoa, his first movie did well, especially with international audiences. The second movie didn't do so well. Some of it was also the fault of James Gunn, that kind of made it a lame duck and removed Ben Affleck from the movie. Probably didn't help. I don't know if you remember that whole movie. They brought back Ben Affleck as Batman. Zaslav asked him to come there and film, and then they filmed him, then they deleted him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember something like that?
Yeah.
In any case,
I don't know what the...
Anyhow, back to the whatever we were talking about, the Marvel one. So Deadpool is now the thing that they're just trying to get your mind off of the Fantastic Four failure. Maybe you'll go watch the movie and just try to change the conversation a bit. But for me, all of this just looks like an act of desperation. At the end of the day, I think that with the right marketing and having Deadpool there and Wolverine, if they do that, and Robert Downey Jr. and whatever, those Avengers movies, I assume that they're going to do okay, considering the amount of money they're spending on them. I don't even know if they'll make money, but I think that there's still a chance that they'll make a few dollars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. God, I don't know.
Are you okay, Professor?
No, just the DCU and the MCU both are just so screwed.
Yeah, no, at this point they're just fun to rip on them. They don't even do anything good anymore. They haven't been good for years.
I want good movies, Price. I actually want to go watch good movies.
I want to see good movies too. By the way, I did see that Weapons movie. That Weapons movie was a good movie.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but praise for it. I can take that back. I have heard a few people had some complaints with the ending of the film. I'm not going to spoil anything, but horror is not my genre. I really don't care for.
You know what? I'll tell you this though. This wasn't that kind of slasher horror that just somebody comes in and all these people just die. It was actually a little bit of a mystery thriller, spooky situation, and I thought that it was done pretty well. Like, if it was somebody that didn't love horror but saw this movie, I think that there's something to enjoy about it, because it was a little more of a... I don't necessarily... Twilight Zone wouldn't be a good way to describe it, but I'm saying it was something else. It wasn't exactly... Usually horror, when you think of horror, you think of a guy with an axe and he's going to kill everybody. But this isn't that situation. Do you get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This one was a little more, I don't know if to say sophisticated or how to explain it. It actually had like a mystery, a thriller, a mystery thriller and some horror elements in it. But I actually was very pleasantly surprised by it. Has to be one of the better movies I've seen this year. I think that when I think of good movies I've seen this year, good that are not 100 for me, okay, but at least decent, very decent even, is this one and F1. Weapons and F1 are until now probably my top movies of the year.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to see if I can get into an IMAX showing of F1 when that gets back into the big
F1.
theaters. I really if I'm gonna see it, I want to see it in IMAX. Otherwise, you know what? I got a nice big OLED TV here. I'll watch it there whenever it hits whenever it hits Apple's. streaming service here in a few months. But yeah, if I can get in to see it in IMAX, I would like to go see that one because I've heard lots of really positive reviews.
It was a Goosebumps movie? I don't think so. Keely Chow, the DCAU ended on a high note with the Justice League Unlimited episode Destroyer, and it animated, sorry. Feature female superheroes without turning them into DCU. Looking at you, Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. Oh no, what did I do? Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here.
Oh, I thought that maybe I
You clicked the the unlabeled buttons, the wrong button.
No, yeah, no. I clicked something that like minimized my screen, so I thought I closed it, but no.
Oh yeah.
I like older horror movies like Bela Lugosi, Boris Karloff.
Oh yeah, classic horror is great. I don't mind classic horror films. No, just a lot of the newer stuff. It's real psychological. Oh yeah, see Elizabeth Quinn, psychological horror
is my least favorite.
and then especially like the supernatural horror stuff that's been so popular recently, body horror stuff. Like I just don't care. Honestly, I'll go back and I'll watch some of the like the over the top gory slasher flicks from the 80s. I find those extremely funny. they're ridiculous, right? They're just goes so over the top. But yeah, the more psychological, supernatural horror stuff that tends to be in vogue today, it just is not for me.
Yeah, I see what you mean. NMM says, "What's the obsession with witches though? Acolyte, Ahsoka, I don't know what that thing is, and Agatha. I mean, there was something like that in Weapons, sort of an element of that, but I didn't think it was like those kind of Agatha things. In all those Agatha and whatever, they use the witches as some sort of allegory or something for LG characters or some weird.
It's a female power trip, is what it is.
Right, but in this movie, like whatever element had this it wasn't that. I didn't feel that it was. I have a pretty good radar when it comes to a bunch of weird crap, and for me, I thought that this movie, maybe if I try to really pick it apart, you can find underlying things, but honestly, none of that bothered me because if a movie is interesting and it tells its story the way it wants to tell it, I think it's fine. I thought that Weapons was a very decent movie. I didn't dislike the movie. And then Robert Eggers' The Witch, spelled Vitch. I don't know that I've seen that.
Yeah, I've heard of that one. I think they were probably talking about it on RLM. They like talk about horror films on Red Letter Media. I usually skip those videos, but yeah, I think they might have talked about that one. It was.
Oh, now I remember. I saw a video this week that annoyed me. Okay, so some guy does a video, and it says that in the video, Quentin Tarantino is gonna reveal the 6 actors that he hates to work with.
Oh yes.
And I'm like, okay, well, now I'm curious. Let's see what his 6 actors are. And I click on it, and I've never felt taken for a ride like that video. It was such a phony baloney clickbait thing. And from the AI narrator to just a bunch of crap that doesn't even make any sense. They basically said that he hates Steve Buscemi, and after Reservoir Dogs, he said he would never work with him again. But then the reason why it's some weird AI crap or some shit is because he actually worked with him in Pulp Fiction. Yeah, he makes a cameo in that movie. So him not wanting to talk to Steve Buscemi after Reservoir Dogs is a lie. Then there's something that he says. There's another one. He says that Bruce Willis, he hated him on the movie. They hated each other, and they never wanted to work with each other again. But then there's this movie called 4 Rooms, where Quentin Tarantino directed like a portion of the movie, and in his portion, he actually called Bruce Willis and asked him to be in it because he wanted Bruce Willis in the movie. And Bruce Willis came and did that, and I think he even did that uncredited because there was some kind of legal issue. So I don't even know if Bruce Willis got paid for that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so the idea that after Pulp Fiction he never wanted to speak to Bruce Willis, obviously that's not true. So 2 out of the 6 actors you understand is just a load of crap, right? Then the next thing that's like, actors, and you think this implies actors that he's worked with. So then they're like, well, Spike Lee and him don't get along, and then he starts talking about that, or the AI talks about that. Well, Spike Lee didn't appear in any of his movies. That's kind of a beef between directors. You know what I'm saying? And to say that this is an actor that he doesn't want to work with in his movies, I think that that's really a stretch. So 3 out of the 6 are already crap. And I can't even remember all the 6, but I was so annoyed. It really made me angry watching his video that he would deceive people, waste people's time with such a deceiving. People have no shame, Professor. That's what I'm saying.
No, they don't. They don't. None at all. If it gets them paid, if it gets them clicks, it's sad.
Hey, Rex Nemo. By the way, if
Ooh,
anybody's new to
Rex
the
Nemo.
channel, everything was such a kind of strange mess today. But if anybody's new, you're welcome to subscribe. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Rumble, you should follow us. I also want to say, there's been a nice turnout, even though we had to jump from stream to stream. Really a nice turnout of people, which was cool.
Absolutely.
But so basically all I'm saying is there's a lot of slop on YouTube more than ever now. More than ever, you just run into these kind of AI. They said that they're cracking down on it. I really hope they do. It bothers me so much when I click on it and it's something like that it's just somebody didn't even do the minimum research. They just like copy pasted, put some stupid AI, put some crappy footage, and just published.
Yeah, there was something that I was shown the other day on YouTube where it was like, oh, that might be an interesting video, and I clicked on it, and yeah, it was just this female AI voice talking over something. I was like, oh my god, I hate you, and immediately downvoted and left. But it seems to be happening more and more and more. Where it's just
it says I try to remove the AI clickbait channels from recommendation, but they multiply like orcs. Yeah.
Oh, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, there are lots of stories like that too. Also annoying. I really hope for YouTube that they manage to do something, but it feels like they don't even care.
Yep. If it gets them attention, if it gets YouTube paid, they don't care. They don't care.
There's also something going around today that I guess Jerry Bruckheimer said that they're working on a screenplay for Pirates 6, and he thinks that if Johnny Depp likes the script, he thinks he'll do the movie.
Okay.
I mean, I'll believe it when I see it, but
yeah, I'm kind of with you there. Just kind of believe it when I see it, kind of thing. I'm not sure that they're actually interested in Johnny Depp still to this day, but there have been a lot of people that would like to see him back again.
Dude Rosef, what's up?
Yeah,
is this I didn't even realize that you had this image, Dude Rosef. I can't usually see it, I guess, but it's nice to see you.
Yeah. Things don't show in the other platform.
I see. Well, we made do with this one, which was good.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think for a second because now I'm looking at all these different streams that we had to try to see what the headlines were. So I
think our last little subject was going to be talking about TeaOnHer. Oh God!
Did you hear about this?
I did actually. So
actually, after that, I have a surprise for you. I have a few surprises. So let's do this TeaOnHer first.
Yeah, the TeaOnHer thing. Yeah. So of course there was the Tea app that was making big news a little week or so ago. All about this new app where women could go on and anonymously share their tea. about men. They could go on and talk about men so that women could feel safe in dating a man. They would know that it was a safe man that they were dating. Of course, it turned immediately into women going on anonymously and posting all sorts of hateful, nasty rumor BS stuff about men, just constantly going on there and just tearing men down, saying awful stuff, and it turned into like this practically, revenge prawn type stuff that they were putting on there. And so that immediately got a lot of attention because there were a lot of men saying, look, now there's this anonymous platform where just any woman can go on there and say awful, just defamatory stuff about me. I have absolutely no recourse, and there's no way to verify that any of it's true. So, I have a bad breakup, and some woman's going to go on here and post all sorts of awful stuff about me. That's not right. And then almost immediately after the app was launched, it had a massive data breach exposing the women who were using the thing because whoever wrote the app just sort of vibe coded it. They used AI to code everything, and it was not checked properly to ensure that it was secure. So they had a huge data breach. So now we've got T for her. Sorry, I forgot the name of it. Yeah, TeaOnHer, which is another app, but it's now men who can post anonymously about women to say, oh, hey, check it out. They're not just posting stuff like, oh, hey, this woman, was nasty to me or lied about me behind my back or whatever. No, they're posting all sorts of pictures of women involved in different sex acts to prove to others that, hey, this woman will go down on you if you buy her dinner, or saying all sorts of stuff about women. And instead of what was very common on T, which was women posting red flags about men, this one has very quickly turned into men posting green flags for women, saying, hey, if you date that lady, she'll do this, or she'll do that sex act, or she'll, this or that, or hey, she's got money, make sure you take advantage of her, all sorts. I mean, it is disgusting. It is so bad. I don't know what else you might have seen about it, Price, but wow.
I mean, I saw that there was now with men that there was a men app that they did something with. There's like TeaOnHer, which is like a men's version.
Yeah, it's a men's version, and so now there's men on there putting all sorts of nasty stuff on there, green flags, saying, oh, if you date this girl, she'll do this sex act or that sex act and whatever, and putting up green flags saying, date this girl, she's an easy lay or whatever. It's absolutely revolting. Both of these apps are terrible.
They are. But by the way, there's been an interesting development. So
we have developments.
This is like the dumbest development ever, but I'm going to show it to you anyways. So I actually posted something the other day. I wrote, important. As a kid, I used to eat at Carl's Jr., and they had the best crinkle cut fries. Then they stopped serving them, and it's all been downhill since. And first of all, I think it's cool that this whole meal cost $1.99.
Yeah.
Today would probably be like $10.99. So don't know. Maybe
Carl's Jr. I remember when they did the whole inversion. You remember the whole thing with the Hardee's and Carl's Jr. They merged, and then they flipped all their restaurants. So all the Hardee's became Carl's Jr.'s, and all the Carl's Jr.'s became Hardee's.
Why did that happen? Why would they flip them?
They were trying to reinvigorate their brands in different areas. So they took a whole lot of their restaurants and they updated them, and it was Hardee's. Well, now it's a Carl's Jr. And they would change all the branding and everything. Although the menus after they merged were essentially exactly the same. And so it was crazy.
Well, all I know All I know is, and I've said this to you before. Sometime when I was young, I lived on the West Coast. Okay.
Yeah.
So over there, Carl's Jr. is a thing. And as a kid, I would go to Carl's Jr. Their burger was fine, everything was fine, but really, the best thing they had really was the fries. It was such good crinkle cut fries, and as a kid, that when I thought Carl's Jr., I thought how great those fries would be. And then years later, in more, I don't know if it was probably already by now, maybe it's already 10, 15 years ago. I don't know what. I went to California and I hadn't been to Carl's Jr. in a very long time. And I think I was either driving and I was on the way from one place to another, and I was suddenly saw one. So I stopped and I said, okay, well, let me just at least have some fries. So I go in and I say, I get a meal or whatever. I don't know what it was. They give me a burger, and then the fries are just these kind of measly fries. And I said, well, where's the crinkle cut fries? And there was a guy that was probably like a young teenager or something working there. He's like, we don't have crinkle cut fries. I said, well, you used to. He's like, no, we never had crinkle cut fries. And he annoyed me, this little shit, because he obviously didn't. He wasn't educated. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't have the knowledge, Professor, that he probably, maybe since he's been to Carl's Jr. because he was like 5 years old, maybe he didn't know that they had crinkle cut fries, but they did have them. And now the reason I'm showing you all this is that somebody here answered me and said, OMG, finally somebody said on X what I've been saying my whole life. My brother-in-law worked for them. They had such a great family-friendly corporate gathering event each year in Anaheim. Imagine if Carl's Jr. brought back their crinkle-cut fries cooked in beef tallow and sea salt. Hey, Carl's, share the idea with your East Coast sister store, Hardee's, and make a great commercial for them. Our crinkle-cut fries are back and better than ever, cooked with all-natural beef tallow. They go great with any of our burgers on the side. Maybe you also want to bring just some swimsuit models to eat these fries. I think that'll do an even.
Yeah.
Hire Sydney Sweeney to eat
Sydney
them.
Sweeney. I want to see Sydney Sweeney eating a Carl's Jr. burger off of the hood of that Mustang she was repairing in that. In that last video.
Do I even dare want to know why Henry Cavill is trending? I wonder what it is. It's people saying that he was a good Superman. I did like him as Superman. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have anything.
I liked him fine as Superman. I hated his movies, but
I understand
just fine.
Listen, even I'll say this. I think that one of the problems is that Zack Snyder needed somebody else to write those screenplays.
He did.
And if they would have given him screenplays that were solid, I think that Zack Snyder could have been an okay director. I know a lot of people say things about him, but I've noticed that movies that he didn't write, like we were talking about it before, like Watchmen and like 300, he's capable of doing a job. I don't think I don't think that he's the I don't think he's a bum, and at the same time, I also can't say that his writing is great. And at some point, somebody should have said, well, you're really good at, you can do the directing part, you're good with the visuals and stuff, but maybe somebody else writes the screenplay. That's my honest opinion. In any case, I don't know why they're all talking about Henry Cavill now, but yeah, I mean, Henry Cavill was an impressive Superman. I don't think anybody had an issue with his casting, or most people didn't have an issue with his casting. And
he definitely had a great physique. He worked really hard to make sure he had a solid physique for it. Filled out the outfit, even though the outfit was dull and gray in most of the shots. Yeah, he was good. And I like Henry Cavill. I kind of do. It's kind of funny that this guy, he's this actor, and he's clearly he's taking great care of himself, works out, but he's also like a super nerd and likes a bunch of really nerdy properties and stuff. Like I find that charming. I really do find him to be really charming as a guy. But oh my gosh, like the people who just lose their minds over him. It's like, well, I mean, yeah, but just because it's got Henry Cavill in it doesn't mean it's going to be good. Like, I don't know. It's like the new Highlander film. I've mentioned it several times. I just don't want this movie. I don't care about this movie. I don't want to see it. I don't know.
But Cavill, can he do an American accent? He's British. He's okay. I'll tell you
His
what.
American accent's all right.
There were a few parts in that Superman in that Man of Steel movie that it kind of slipped. I think he could maybe have worked on it a little more. But you know what? It doesn't bother me. I feel like he had the vibe. Superman isn't just even an actor. You also need a guy that has a certain vibe. You know what I mean? And I do think that Henry Cavill had this kind of larger than life aura about him. I don't really know how to explain this, but part of it is also that he went to the gym. Part of it is just his overall appearance and in the training and everything that he did. When he wore that suit and he's walking around and his posture and everything, the way he carries himself, I feel like he does convince me that he's Superman, Henry Cavill. He could have been more convincing with a better screenplay, but that's a different story. I think whatever he needed to do, I think he did just fine. I never had an issue of making more movies with Henry Cavill as Superman. I actually regret that I think that there was probably a good movie somewhere that Henry Cavill could have been in as Superman, and we never truly got like the best we could have gotten out of him.
Yes, unfortunately.
Well, there's two things that I wanted to.
Oh, you've got two more things. Oh, Bryce. What are you doing to me, man? Come on. All right.
Okay.
Bring it.
So first of all, what I wanted to say is that people don't know this, but I wanted to tell you that we didn't, properly celebrate this occasion. But you've been the co-host of the Night Owl for about a year, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
But it's around this time that it's been about a year. And I don't know. I should have at some point. I didn't really notice until this week. I kind of looked at it, so I never got a chance to properly thank you. I think that people don't always know what happens behind the scenes in the show. But a year ago, we had a situation where a guy that was here with me, Dredd, who was a very nice guy, his family was relocating, and he had a family that was expanding and locating to a place with a different time zone. Whatever was going on with this show, he wasn't able to continue it, and really without even thinking twice and so quickly. I'm trying to think how it all happened. I think that maybe one day you saw that I was by myself streaming, and maybe
I'll tell you, what had happened was actually, if you'll remember, when you started talking about the Acolyte last year.
I remember that. Yes.
Yes, I was coming on and we were talking about the Acolyte together, and that was right about the same time that that Dredd had basically said he wasn't going to be able to do the show for very much longer because he was involved in a move. They were adding some more family.
Yes, exactly.
And just his availability was going to be significantly limited. He wasn't really going to be able to do it anymore. And you just kind of were like, do you think you can keep doing it? Yeah, why not? It's not really a problem for me. It's not a bad time. And most of the time I'm happy to come hang out. So yeah, we kind of just moved on from there. It just kind of organically happened.
It organically happened, but I still think that there was even a day that maybe you saw me on the stream and maybe I was talking about the Acolyte, and I think I was just by myself, and maybe you either DM'd me or you wrote something in the chat. And we're both also in the circle of Mr. Brown Alliance, and we have our paths crossed through different acquaintances and whatever. And I believe we were on streams before that, but I think that this was the first time that really you and I are just sitting and doing a stream. So quickly you stepped in and just were great from the first second. And I don't know. I think that I can't, now that we've been doing this for a year, I couldn't really imagine the show being different than it is now, if you know what I'm trying to say. And that's no disrespect. I am so grateful to anybody that helped in the past. I also am always very grateful to Vex Electronica, who actually in the early episodes when I didn't have a co-host, she just sat here and it was a bonkers type of stream, but she was here, early on. And then you had Gerard Roberts, and there's also Sean that when he could, during that transitional period, helped a lot. And I appreciate everybody, but I couldn't imagine the show being, without us two. You know what I'm saying, Professor? So
Sure.
if I never said it, I want to say thank you. I think people in our line of whatever we do, they don't often take time to say a few positive things. So I figured since you're falling asleep and you won't remember this anyways,
No.
I'll give a few
Yeah, it
compliments
was.
that you won't
Yeah,
remember tomorrow anyways. The other people will hear them though.
yeah. It's been a little over a year. I think there were a handful in there, like you said, where Dredd and I overlapped a little bit, and of course we also regularly, whenever we can, we love to have the fantastic Sean Crummell join us. His situation has changed significantly as well with his job and everything, and it means he doesn't get to hop on quite as often as we would like, but we also love having Sean join
When he
us
does hop on,
when
we're
he can.
always happy, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
it's
absolutely. But
kind of like a random surprise, and we're always happy to see him. So that's cool.
yeah, I remember one of the first couple of streams that we were on together. We were talking about the Paramount merger, and now it's finally happening. The Paramount merger is finally happening. We've been yakking about this for a year, and it was even old news when we were talking
It was
about it
old
back
news then.
then.
This has been going on for years, this stupid
Yeah.
thing. And then Trump threw another monkey wrench with his lawsuit, which is kind of funny.
Yep.
But
Yep.
yeah, at the end of the day, it was nice just to come, like, to mention the thing, because it's been it's probably it was probably a year a few weeks ago, but it's around this time, so I thought that was cool. Just wanted to say a few words about it, so we did
Yeah.
that. And then
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah.
the final surprise. Are you ready? I
You have a
saw a
new
movie.
co-host? Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I saw a
Oh,
movie, and I'm going to
sorry, got
review it
worried there for
now.
a second. Yeah. No, what new movie did you get to see?
Let's see. I'm going to surprise you now. Are you ready? Don't ask me why I saw this movie. Are you ready?
Was it Sketch or whatever that other that the new Angel film is?
Oh, I should have watched that. I didn't get a chance, but actually it's this movie.
Oh my God, Price! I kind of wish you had seen Sketch.
I saw Freakier Friday.
Oh no. Okay, well, what did
You know what? I didn't
Price
even
of
have time.
Reason?
I was gonna do like a quick review and put it on this, channel that we're talking now, which is
Yeah.
like for bonus content. I'm trying to think if I may have even recorded audio for it. I just didn't have time to finish it. But since I've seen the movie, I'll just tell you. Did you ever see Freaky Friday?
Oh yes, I've seen both. I've seen the original, and I've also seen the other one with Curtis and Lowen. Yeah, I've seen those.
So basically, they made a sequel to this, and I have
Yep.
no idea. It's the most random thing. I felt like I was out of place. It reminded me of that time that I saw Dogman. In any case, what happens in this movie is that basically they wanted to do a sequel, but instead of having them switch places with each other again, what they did was they have these two girls.
Yeah, I saw the full trailer for this before Fantastic Four. I think it was. No, it was before Naked Gun that I saw the full trailer for this.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. This is, first of all, this is the type of movie that doesn't even need to exist. If we're being honest,
Oh
that
no.
first one, you barely got away with it. Lindsay Lohan was young and did whatever she did. Jamie Lee Curtis, it was fine for her. It worked for whatever it was supposed to be. I don't hate those kind of swap movies. There was no shortage of them during the 80s. There were a few of those. There was maybe 80s and 90s. You had I can't remember the names of it now. There were two that came out at the same time. One had why am I blanking on this? There were two of them. Did one of them have? Don't laugh at me. Did one of them have Fred Savage in it? That they switched places, a father and I thought maybe one had Kirk Cameron and one had Fred Savage, and maybe Judge Reinhold. Am I making any sense here, Professor?
Yeah,
This is
yeah, no. Let's see. Fred Savage starred in the 1988 fantasy comedy film Vice Versa,
who
where he
is his
played
father?
Charlie Seymour, an 11-year-old who magically switches bodies with his father, Marshall, played by Judge Reinhold.
Okay, so Judge Reinhold
There you
and
go.
Fred Savage, I got that one. Now, I
Yeah.
thought there was another one, and I don't know, it's probably wrong. Why did I think Kirk Cameron was in it? There was another one, but I can't remember. And at the same time, with Vice Versa, like the same year, another movie came out with the same, it's like the same screenplay.
Mm-hmm.
Was it
Yeah,
Kirk Cameron?
Let's see. In 1987, Kirk Cameron started the movie Like Father, Like Son. Kirk Cameron plays Chris Hammond, a high school senior, and Dudley Moore plays his father. The plot
Dudley
centers
Moore.
on a body-switching mishap caused by a
Ah.
mysterious potion called the brain transference serum. So,
All
yes,
right. Okay. Well, good.
there you go. Yep, 1 year apart. So, yeah.
Okay, so good. So at least, it's random, but I knew it. Then there was 18 again. That was with George Burns. I think somebody mentioned it in the chat.
Yeah,
So there
I
was
remember 18 again. I actually think I'm pretty sure I saw that one because who was the other who was in that with Burns?
I can't remember the actor.
It wasn't a big name.
No, I don't think it was a big name. I remember George Burns.
I do remember seeing that though. Yeah,
I actually remember seeing that too. And actually, maybe because of George Burns, that one had a little bit more of an edge than the other two. I mean,
I always
they're all
liked
three.
George Burns.
What'd you say?
I always liked George Burns.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It's just a
saying.
funny old coot. Like
No, and I think that what made me what was kind of interesting about the 18 again one is that once he was in his grandson's body, and like you hear his thoughts as George Burns, but he's like in the body of the younger guy, then he's like he thinks that he's living in like the 1920s or something or 1940s, and he wants to. He like his whole demeanor and everything that he does, he wants to do all this kind of old school stuff. There was something a bit amusing about it. So somehow that movie out of the three was probably the better one. Then there was something later that I feel I'm ashamed to say I saw this, that I thought that Zac Efron switched places with somebody. Blanking on who that was, but I think there was another stupid movie like that. That's Zac Efron switching spaces. I don't know. And Freaky Friday. That was a remake, but the one with the Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. I think that I caught it once on a plane or something many years ago. It was fine. It did whatever it was supposed to do. When it came to this new one, though, initially when the movie starts, it's kind of annoying right out the gate. Are you with me, Professor?
Yeah. By the way, the Zac Efron was 17 again.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I remember that one. I think it was called 17 again because it sounds just like the George Burns one.
It was like the George Burns one, but I think the George Burns one until now is the best one.
Oh no, yeah, I do remember that. Now that I think about it, yeah, I think it's probably one I caught on HBO way back in the 90s. But the other guy was Charlie Schlatter.
Phantom Outsider says in 18 again they put the grandson and the grandfather's body in a coma so that Burns did not have to do much in the film. His role was a glorified cameo, but I think he did voiceovers. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that he did the voiceover of the grandson, so that way he's kind of with you, giving you some stupid narration that's a bit funny, but then the grandson actor has to really pretend he's George Burns. For whatever it's worth, I recall that one being maybe the least lame out of all of these, but it is what it is. In any case, Freakier Friday, what it starts off is immediately they explain to you that Lindsay Lohan's character is a single mom. There's no father, and they don't explain where the daughter came from either. Just that Jamie Lee Curtis, as the grandmother, decided that they would co-parent, that she'd help her raise her, or something like that. that already is like a strange opening. It's not. I didn't love that. I will
Huh.
say that the reason they did all of this is that they wanted to, there's this other girl that her daughter studies with in class that they don't get along, but it turns out that her father is the guy from the Acolyte. You know the guy in the river with that took out his dick in the Sorry Sean and the Acolyte.
Ah, yes, throbbing. Yes, I
Manny
remember.
Manny Genkido or whatever his name is.
Manny, yes, Jacinto or Jacinto.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
close enough.
actually, he was probably one of the only actors in the Acolyte who I thought did a good job,
He
despite the terrible, terrible script.
I'll tell you what, in this movie where he had a chance to just do a role, I didn't think he was bad. I mean, it's a stupid movie, but I didn't
Yeah.
think his acting was bad. I don't think he's a bad actor. Probably I liked him better here than in The Acolyte. In any case, he has this daughter. They're actually like originally from London, and he has this daughter. And basically, the two girls are fighting, but because of the two girls fighting, Lindsay Lohan actually, and him meet, and then they end up liking each other. So then they decide that they want to get married. And then right before the wedding, they do a thing where some stupid fortune teller thing. It's so far fetched. And they do like a quadruple swap or some kind of swap. Basically, Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan characters become the two girls. Okay. And the two girls become Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan. The problem is once you have four people like that switching around, it becomes very convoluted and annoying. And it's this whole thing that one of the girls wants to leave to go to London and the other one doesn't. There's a lot of annoying stuff that happens in the movie. Not to mention that they bring back the love interest from the first movie, and of course, like they try to undermine that whole situation. I suspect, I know nobody's going to believe me. I suspect that they wanted to make that guy an LG character and that somebody deleted it at the last minute. That's the only explanation. Are you with me?
Deleted all the evidence.
I feel like somebody deleted all the evidence. And by the way, there was another strange thing that happened in the movie that they're in the school, like, and there's about to be a food fight. So there's a few kids eating cake, and when they cut the cake, inside it looks like the colors of a rainbow. So I said, okay, well, I guess that's a little bit of a kind of subliminal messaging. The next shot, you see some guy in the background like holding a flag that's a rainbow. I'm like, well, a little less subliminal, I guess. Put that in there. And then like they zoom out and there's like a guy like that more clearly just standing there with that flag again, like more clearly. And you know what I thought to myself, Professor? I feel like now we're in a stage where we sometimes get like passive aggressive woke. Do you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they're still gonna try and squeeze it in everywhere they can.
Because
I would bet you it was probably blatant in earlier versions of the cut. There was probably it was a coming out party or something like that they were having, or it was Pride Day at the high school or something, and then they realized, oh damn, we've got to get this out of this movie because we're gonna take so much flack.
they still, I mean, they could have digitally removed the thing, which they didn't do. But I mean,
Yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is, I don't know if her ex was supposed to be like an LG character, although there's a part of me that thought that that's what they were going for, but then it kind of doesn't materialize. I could be just imagining it. Those flags were another red flag, then in the sense of like, what are these flags? What do they want? There were a few things that I was kind of wondering to myself if there wasn't an edit of sorts. Because really, they were like cooking cookies and stuff in the yard, and it turns into like a food fight. I don't know how that would involve somebody having those flags. Do you get what I mean? The flags at that point seem very random. It's like you said, maybe there was something else going on there. I just simply don't know. But all I know is now we're like in a passive aggressive thing where there's just like you'll have a scene and somebody will stand with like a rainbow flag. I mean, personally, I've told you this before. I don't really care what people do. I don't care what their preferences are or what people do. I just don't like it when people are lecturing to me about it. I don't care what they do.
Yeah.
And
telling
really,
you that you're wrong for not being that or
right,
enjoying
exactly. Like,
that
why don't you
or
love this? Why
whatever.
aren't you this? What, like, I don't know. You do whatever you want. Like, leave me alone. So I just don't understand all that stuff. Why it's so important and why the flags. But whatever, they put the flags in there. That was just a few seconds of the movie. It's not like I was sitting around there thinking about it. I did wonder about the ex. I mean, nobody's going to watch this movie anyways. Basically, the girls, in order to sabotage the wedding, so that the girl doesn't have to move, or she wants to go to London, or some stupid crap like that. In order to sabotage the wedding, they go and they find the original boyfriend from the first movie, and he owns a record store. So they pretend like the girl that basically is now Lindsay Lohan. She goes to the record store where he works, and she's trying to kind of hit on him because she wants to sabotage the relationship of Lindsay Lohan. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like the girl wants to sabotage her mother's relationship, so she goes in and tries to sort of flirt with the ex-boyfriend in order to cause a problem. And the guy is like not interested at all. He's like totally not interested. And Jamie Lee Curtis, who's supposed to be like a psychiatrist, it looks like he wants to talk to her about something, and it almost seems like he wants to talk to her about something that has to do with rainbows. Do you get what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
But somehow it never materializes. Nobody explains why they broke up, why today there's just like there's no even a hint of like when she was sort of flirting with him, it's almost like he didn't understand why she was doing it. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
There's something about it that just seems so off to me, but I maybe I'm imagining it all. Maybe
Yeah,
I don't. If you told me that at the end there were additional scenes suggesting that this guy was something that I'm describing to you, I wouldn't be shocked at all. But I don't know. I absolutely don't know. I
Yeah,
just know that
there were some scenes maybe that were there originally and then they took out that would have maybe made the performance that the actor was giving make a lot more sense.
maybe at this point also they do these kind of one size fit all movies. They do it in a way that they can delete it if they want. Maybe for different markets, maybe for all markets. You know what I'm saying? So maybe to some people it just seems he's weird. In some cases, maybe there was something else. I don't know. In any case, the whole thing was strange. Bottom line is, if I had to sum up what I thought about the movie, I was surprised by one thing. First of all, Lindsay Lohan was pretty decent in the movie. Like, I haven't seen her in many years, and I think that if her life didn't go in the direction of all these kind of, recreational activities and things that she was doing, if you know what I'm trying to say, I think that if she wouldn't have had that kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say? That her life kind of went off the rails.
Yeah.
If she didn't have that, I actually think that she was a decent actress. Even when she was young, she had a quality about her that was surprisingly like decent in terms of being an actress. I actually thought in this movie that you see some of that. And Jamie Lee Curtis, like anytime you interview her these days, she's totally condescending and annoying and overly political and says a bunch of random crap. But I will say that like I still think she's a good actress, and she's able to do a bunch of different styles. She can do comedy, she can do horror, she can do drama. And I think that in this movie where she needed to do some kind of comedy, in the few parts that I actually laughed a little bit, I actually thought that it was her. You know, I thought that she actually did a semi decent job in the movie. But with that being said, I think that the movie didn't really need to exist, and that even really decent performances from Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis aren't enough to like fix this movie. Having the two girls with the other girls, and the final thing that I'll tell you that really bothered me, the girl that switched with Jamie Lee Curtis, she has a British accent. So when Jamie Lee Curtis switched, Jamie Lee Curtis, do you get what I'm saying? The actresses didn't adopt each other's accents.
Yeah.
Meaning,
yeah, I saw that in the trailer and I thought that felt really awkward.
Took me out of the movie completely. It's like if you're gonna do this stupid British thing, the person that she went into has to talk like British now. And maybe at least what you do is you start off by having her speak like a British person, but then saying like, I actually know how to do an American accent, so I'm going to try that. You know what I'm saying? Do something that initially it looks like you're doing it, and then making an effort to do the American in order for people not to know, and that the other one is trying to do a British accent or something. But the fact that they just pretended that this was not an issue really annoys me.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, this was nothing I ever had an interest in seeing to begin with. First of all, I think that Jamie Lee Curtis has made anything good in quite some time. She was fine in what was that? Everything Everywhere
That
All
movie
at
was
Once.
crap, in my opinion.
I liked it okay. It wasn't my favorite thing ever. I certainly haven't gone back to watch it a second time, but it was all right. But then, yeah, I mean, what else has she done recently that was good? And then Lindsay Lohan. I have absolutely no interest whatsoever in seeing anything with Lindsay Lohan in it.
I
So,
mean, listen, I wasn't looking
yeah.
to see anything. I'm just giving my honest opinion that I
Yeah,
thought
I
she was
know, I
decent
know.
in the movie. I can't say she's bad if she's not bad, but Jamie Lee Curtis was in that movie with Pamela Anderson, that indie movie that cost $1 to make. I actually thought that Lee Curtis was good in that movie, even though the movie was annoying. But I thought that she was good in the movie. Another thing that I saw her in, I'm trying to think what it was. There was that. Oh man, something. Oh, there was Everything Everywhere at Once, which I didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
And then you had.
She was in Borderlands.
I didn't even watch that. Honestly,
Yeah, I wouldn't bother. She was also for some dumb reason she was in Star Trek Section 31 for
she
quick
was doing
minute
a
there.
favor probably to Michelle Yeoh or something
Oh.
because they're friends or something. That's probably why she was there. But yeah, that
Yeah.
was dumb too. That I would never want to put that on my resume. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Oh, easily. It's one of the worst films I've ever seen.
But I will say that in this movie, there were a few moments that she needed to deliver jokes, and I'm not going to lie to you. She actually there was like one part. I think that she was in that record store, kind of hiding in back, and then she tells her because she's supposed to be a young lady, like inside the old woman, so she tells her, I have to I have to convince them that I'm an old person, so I'll go look for like albums by Coldplay or something like that. And the way that she said it and delivered it in that moment was actually funny. Like, and there were a few other scenes like that. So she's the kid like in the old lady's body, and I thought that like actually Jamie Lee Curtis actually cracked me up a few times. Again, don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting there laughing the whole movie. Most of it I'm kind of suffering, but there were a few moments that I actually thought that she does have the ability to do comedy. She was in Trading Places. She was in A Fish Called Wanda with the Monty Python crew.
Oh yeah, no, she's done some great comedies.
She has the chops to do that if she wants.
Yeah.
And like for years I hadn't seen something that was a little more amusing from her. So I actually thought that there were a few moments that she cracked me up for whatever that's worth. But aside from that, unnecessary movie, likable performances from Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, even that Manny Jankido guy. Not the worst performances, but it's just the movie itself convoluted, stupid, and unnecessary. But when I walked outside the theater, some ladies asked me to take a picture of them in front of the sign of Freakier Friday, and they were for like women. They were obviously I want to say in their 30s, 40s. I don't know what it was, and I took a picture of them, and I don't know. I don't even know why, but they were asking me something. Basically they like the movie. That's the bottom line. And
Yeah.
I told them that I didn't like I thought that there were issues with it. I basically they were asking me something, so I said that I review movies, but I didn't tell them what I review it for because I wasn't in puppet form, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, yeah.
So all I did was said, yeah, I do review movies, and they're like, so they're curious. They're like, because they asked me to take pictures of them. Really stupid thing. In any case, they asked me, what do I think of the movie? And I started explaining my issues, and they seemed like totally sad that I didn't love the movie. So you know what? I guess this movie, I guess I'm not the target audience. Maybe there's some ladies that I also, even when I was sitting in the theater, I felt that there were ladies there that seemed chuckling more than I was. I like maybe chuckled a few times, and the rest of the time I like had a very somber face. Whereas these ladies seemed to laugh at more jokes, and there's more emotional scenes, whatever it is. I guess it's a movie for women. Well, what do I know?
I would say, yeah, you are not the target audience. You weren't the target audience for Barbie, and you weren't the target audience for this either.
And no, they absolutely wanted the picture. They were all four of them. They wanted to stand. You know how in the theater you have like this kind of big sign thing. The when there's a movie, you have this big display. They wanted to take a picture of all 4 of them next to the display because it was such a important moment for them to see this stupid movie. And they asked me to take pictures, so I took the pictures.
Yeah.
They didn't want anything else, trust me. They just wanted the
Yeah.
pictures.
They saw the first one with their mom when they were 6 years old, and now they.
It's probably what it was. In
Yeah.
any case, they
No,
didn't.
They got the sequel.
Like they were getting a live Price of Reason review, and they didn't
Yeah.
seem happy. Now I
Yeah.
know why all these people like leave me nasty comments in my videos.
Were they asking you if you were AI while you were talking?
No, they didn't think I was an AI, but they're like, "Oh, what didn't you like about it?" Oh,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Well, they didn't do this, they didn't
Well,
do
it was
that. This kind of was
kind of lame."
convoluted. This it didn't make sense." And like I could tell that like we weren't on the same wavelength, Professor. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you could see the eyes glaze over just a little bit while you're talking.
Not even glazed, like they were disappointed and they were
Yes.
sad that this is how I felt about their movie. It's a strange experience. In any case, that's Freakier Friday. Have to think. I'm going to do. I don't know if I'll finish the review. I have to think what I would give it as a score. But it's not going to be like some flying colors thing. But I'm wondering if I'd give it a passing grade or not, just for the decent performances of sorts. I don't know. Have to think about it more.
Yep.
Jason Webster said the 2003 adaptation did receive positive reviews, turned a profit, having earned $160 million worldwide. So that is why they thought a sequel would perform just as well. Well, it has been many years. Lindsay Lohan at the time was in her prime. I don't know how much money this is going to make, if it's going to be profitable for them, but it is what it is.
Yeah, the original Freaky Friday, I remember it was a phenomenon. There were quite a few people really into it, and of course, yeah, Lindsay Lohan was a lot more popular back then. She was kind of in her prime at the time. So that was that was a film to see. It was something that that there was a lot of hype around when it came out. It was definitely not for me. It's not anything I was interested in seeing.
I mean, listen, in the opening weekend, this movie made $46 million, and the production budget, now I don't know if to believe anybody, is $42 million. But this isn't one of those kind of Fantastic Four movies. I believe this movie probably cost something like that. It's not a movie that they needed $500 million to produce. It's not Kathleen Kennedy doing Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So I assume it'll be...
For this movie, I mean, honestly, the marketing hasn't been over the top. They probably only spent 45, 50 on the marketing as well. So, they won't have to go too far to actually, make a profit on this. I would guess.
That's smart these days, not to spend too much on a movie. I think that whoever does that is smart. And,
absolutely. Yeah. Someone the other day was, it was part of that X conversation. They were saying, I was saying, these movie studios, they're spending more and more money on these big budget, films, these big, tentpole films. They're like, oh, well, they only spent, 37 million on, what was the horror movie, that you saw price? I can't remember. It's too
Weapons?
late at night. Yes, Weapons. So they only spent like the 37 million on Weapons. I'm like, yeah, that's a horror movie. They never spend big on horror movies, and that's why they do so well at the box office. They have real limited budgets. They're not going out and doing crazy stuff trying to sell a horror movie that they spent $225 million on. No, they make them for 30, 40 million, maybe 60 if it's a really high budget one, and then they make their money back pretty easily because there's a lot of horror fans out there that'll go pretty reliably to the theaters to see these films because they're really interested in that stuff. So yeah, we need so many more movies that are in those much lower budgets, moderate budgets. I even think, all of these, of course, we don't necessarily believe that the budgets are actually what they say they are, but all these superhero movies coming in at 180, 200, that's still too much. It's still too much. They're gonna have to get those budgets back down into the 120s. They need to. Yes, I know that there's a lot there for post-production for all the special effects and stuff. They need to be more careful about how they're spending the money for those special effects. They need to get better, better directors and better producers who are actually paying attention to the shots that they're getting, and they're actually, crafting a film around the shots that are needed instead of just showing up and saying, we're just going to film it and we'll make it up in post.
Right. All they do
That's-
now is making it up in post. All those
Yeah.
Feige movies, other than Kathleen Kennedy, that's why these things just go off a cliff with all the
Yeah.
all the budgets
Well-
and ballooning out of control.
But you do have people who know how to do this. You've got, it was Gareth Edwards, right, that did The Creator. The effects in that, the budget for that was pretty moderate, and the effects were outstanding. Now,
So I don't know if you saw that. I saw something recently that Kevin Feige said, "Oh, after seeing The Creator, I had to meet up with Gareth Edwards so he could tell me how he can do movies for cheaper." Well, first of all, I don't see that you've learned any lessons. I think the
No.
movies still aren't cheap, and you're still overspending. And the other thing is that it took him a really long time to talk to Gareth Edwards. The second I saw The Creator said, "I can't believe Hollywood isn't taking a course from this guy that he can
Yeah,
explain to them
yeah.
how to do this."
The story was not great. Honestly, halfway into the, not even halfway in, 30 minutes into the movie, I was like, I know exactly how this is going to play out. Like I could tell you what was going to happen with the script going forward. It was really an obvious.
It was
plot.
tolerable. It wasn't the worst movie I'd seen, but honestly,
No.
it felt like it could have been so much better had there been somebody
yes.
writing a screenplay that wasn't so obvious, like you just said.
Yeah, it was really obvious where they were going with it. I knew exactly what was going to happen. But as far as the cinematography and the use of the special effects and everything, it's because he knew from the start. First, they started a movie with a completed script. And then he sat down and he mapped out like how he wanted these shots to work and where he was going to need special effects and what they could do practically and everything. And the special effects in that film, I would put that up against anything that Marvel has made in the past 10 years. The special effects in that are
fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic. They look great. And it's because they knew he sat down and he planned out, this is what my shots are going to look like. This is where I'm going to need the special effects, so that they could limit the amount of time they had to spend on the special effects, so that they were focused in on really making the effects they made good, instead of, we told you we were going to have 800 shots that needed special effects. Actually, it's going to be more like 1,800. So deadline is still there. We're still putting the movie out in June or whatever. So make it work. And then they'll do 600 shots that they'll come back and say, actually, we've decided to change that. We're gonna do something different with that. So you got to redo 400 of those 600 shots that you just. I mean, that's why Marvel's. The special effects in these Marvel movies just look so awful, is because they're constantly making changes and they don't really have a plan.
Because we're talking about Marvel, and this will be the final anecdote, and then we can probably sign off, is that, did you know that Fantastic Four, this past weekend, which was their third weekend, if you compare it to the third weekend of Thunderbolts, I believe Thunderbolts made more money in its third weekend than Fantastic Four made in its third weekend. Now,
I would believe it.
Now the first weekend was bigger for Fantastic Four, but the truth is, even though nobody agreed with me on this, and I know some people will be very annoyed to hear this, again, I'm very carefully choosing my words here, because I'm not suggesting that Thunderbolts was an especially good movie. I was less annoyed by the Thunderbolts than I was by Fantastic Four. First of all, the Thunderbolts, I had no expectations. It's not the Fantastic Four. I don't really care about those characters. The best they could do is maybe just entertain me for a few hours in a movie that's just kind of silly and dumb that I don't care about. And I felt that the minimum requirement of doing that in the Thunderbolts, they sort of did it, even though it's not upper tier Marvel. It's like lower part of the table, lower tier, but somehow barely watchable, or whatever you want to call it. Fantastic Four, I wanted to go to sleep. Do whatever you want with that. I don't know. I was bored in Fantastic Four. Really bored. I don't know what to tell you.
Yep. It was it was not a very good
Parts
film.
is hard for few. She's not really my style. I don't especially. She's cute. I mean, okay, listen, I'm just some average dude, okay? If I sat in a bar and she came, she's like, "Oh, you're great. Like, let's go out." Of course, I'd say yes. But I mean, if we're looking at more like a movie screen, movie cinema, Hollywood glamour, it's not glamorous anymore. But you know what I'm trying to say? I think that somebody like Scarlett Johansson, who she was replacing, Scarlett Johansson has a more kind of I don't know how to say this without being a dick, Professor. She looks more impressive,
Appealing,
appealing. Okay, okay.
perhaps, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, it's a matter of taste. You know, everybody likes
Yeah.
whatever appeals to them. I humbly think that Scarlett Johansson is more appealing than Florence Pugh. That is my personal opinion. Somebody else may say, no, I disagree with you, and that's fine. I can only speak for myself.
Oh yeah, there's quite a few people who really, really have the hots for Zendaya, and I don't get it at all. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
She's just serviceable as
She kind of just looks like
As
a
a-
mildly cute girl next door type. Or,
yeah.
you know, when she goes to those kind of fashion shows where they dress her up and she's very skinny, there's models that are kind of very skinny modeling stuff. She has a certain look to her, but it's not the type of look that I personally, it's not my thing.
Yep.
That's just my personal opinion, of course. I can't, like I said, like you said, if some people like it. Tomac says, I prefer Zendaya to Lizzo. Okay, I'll give you that.
Well, yeah, I prefer Jessica Alba to just about anybody.
Jessica Alba, I like her. Yeah,
Woo.
that's why I kind of was sorry that they didn't bring that
Yeah.
cast back. She still
Mhm.
looks nice, Jessica Alba, even
She
today.
does. Yeah, she does.
I don't prefer either one of them. They both suck. Are you talking about Lizzo and Zendaya? Well, I mean, okay. I still think that Zendaya. It's not my preference for her specifically, but obviously, I think she's better than Lizzo. Lizzo is really, it's a tough sell.
Yeah.
Godzilla -1, which made 116 million worldwide from a budget of 111 million. Zuma earned from. Yeah, those were great successes. Godzilla -1, really amazing achievement in cinema. I absolutely love that movie, or I really like that movie. Let's put it that way. In any case, I think we've gone over everything. I don't know now. Is there a list that we can say bye to people?
Yeah, let's say goodbye to some of our friends here before we sign off. So, over on Rumble, we just had a few people joining us tonight, at least in the chat, but that's fine. We had Folsom Lockdown, Elizabeth Quince, B Money, Intel Lord, Empress NM, Double R Star, Dude Bro, Seth 420, and Pure Blood Based Berserker joining us over there. So it was great to see all of you. And over on YouTube, we had FKHC 2005, Keely Chow, Yitis, Tim Hayes, The Dead Man, Kendrick Lama, Tomahawk 511, Jonathan Conroy, Void King, Mark S47, Gavin Blackburn, Bishop Judas, Sean Green, I have New Dick, Vex Electronica popped in for a little bit to chat, Phantom Outsider, Granola Gran, Rex Nemo, Lasher, Mass Grave, and Jason Webster. So think I got everybody, but if we missed anyone, then sorry. Hopefully we'll catch you next time. And yeah, for those of you just lurking, just listening to the stream or checking it out after the fact, we really appreciate you. And don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment after. And if you're new to the channel, give us a follow or a subscription. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree with everything the professor said. Professor, is there anything you want to plug?
Oh, no, not particularly. Make sure you're back here on Thursday for, another episode of Price and I in our second year together doing the Night Owl. And then, of course, on Friday, I'll be back doing B-sides over on B-roll stage. Had fun with Price joining us this last Friday, although the show kind of went downhill pretty quickly with some technical issues.
But I was able to assist.
That was all right. Yes, you did.
First
You
of all, I
assisted with
brought
the-
my expertise from Price of Reason Studios to B-roll, and I was able to help solve a technical issue.
Yep, it all worked out in the end, and Price got to play a game with us for the first
Played
time.
a game. Stephen Mack, I've been lurking in the corner. Well, that's good to know.
Oh yeah, good to see you. And then Facutino 93 also looks like he was lurking too. So he says watch Alien Earth. Yes, I saw that the first couple episodes of that were available. Simply just no time, absolutely no time to watch that right now. So I will be trying to sneak in Alien Earth here in the next few days to check it out. Yeah,
absolutely.
All right.
So I guess everybody that hung out with us here, thanks for hanging out. And it's been another great evening. And today is Tuesday, so we'll see you here on Thursday on the Night Owl every Tuesday and Thursday at 11:45 p.m. And that's it, I guess.
That'll do it. Thanks for being here, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.